Orange Radio Show. This is the second part of the Old Man Orange Radio Show, not to be confused too much with the Old Man Orange podcast, but kind of the same thing. But I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
And special guest today,
Nora Chambers.
Yay! So, which hopefully she'll just be a regular on the Old Man Orange radio show.
They're pretty awesome.
And today, there's been a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things going on in the news. We got a couple topics to talk about. One is kind of it's more about just this time period of children in the 2000s compared to children in the 90s when we were kids.
We're just like a bunch of bitter old fucks in rocking chairs.
It really is going to happen like that. Be like two old men and a lady standing out on like their front porch going, "Yep, I remember the days before we had our HD TVs and our 3D glasses you had to put on, and well, 3D we had it, but it was red and blue."
Yeah, I was gonna say 3D was in other colors. We didn't get cool 3D. We got, hey, yeah, it's kind of coming at me, but it's also got a great blue line and red line.
We also only had 151 Pokemon, and that one extra we was grateful for.
But speaking of like those red and blue 3D glasses, you remember a lot of characters like in the 90s would wear those? It actually originated like in the 50s, but like Back to the Future.
Yeah, I was just thinking Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Like one of Biff's friends, he's wearing the fucking 3D glasses the whole time.
Even when they're in the fucked up like 1985.
Yeah,
he still has them, and they're still just the fucking sidekicks of Biff. You think they would have like progressed in some way?
Maybe got like a new job, or something better in life.
And then there was also like, I'm not sure if you guys remember this, but there's like remember like in the 90s, the most 90s thing ever, like it's the Burger King kids, in the one like. There's like a kid in a wheelchair.
Oh, yeah, because they're the wheelchair kid.
There's the black kid. There is like a girl with blonde hair. There's an
They had to
Asian kid.
fulfill each requirement.
And then the blonde.
No one could get hurt.
Exactly. And then like the one blonde, the blonde boy, he had 3D glasses. Like, whoa, man.
And he had like a backwards hat on. He's like,
yeah.
Yo, bro.
They had the dog too.
Oh yeah, they had the dog because dogs were very hip.
Oh god.
But I had like there's like trading cards came up. I think they were like a learning thing was what they were. Like they would always have like they'd give you some like history lessons or something like that in them.
Hey bro, always wear your helmet. That kind of shit.
Well, I don't know if it was necessarily that or I think it actually was like full on like they taught you about history and small things
some
like
random fact about some random president.
Like,
You're like,
yeah,
yeah,
there's
cool,
more
I'm
about
totally gonna remember this.
dinosaurs
Yeah, or
and-
like dinosaurs, scientific stuff.
Christopher Columbus was totally friends with the natives, bro.
Right
kind
on.
of stuff.
They loved him when they first saw him.
Because the first thing Christopher Columbus did was when he got off that boat was like scratched his balls and went, "I need something to fuck."
And kill and burn.
That's what we're here, right? We're in India, right?
All right, so what are we going to talk about? Those recent events, or want to talk recent events and work our way into the kid stuff, or kid stuff first?
Yeah, we can work our way into the kid stuff later. Recent events. This is the one thing that this happened to me when I went to buy The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 on the Blu-ray, and I bought it off Amazon, and I was going to be a cheap bastard. I was like, you know what? Because sometimes they get you, and it's like, I mostly always go, like, when I buy things off Amazon, I always buy 2 things, because then you get the free shipping if you breach $25, and I'm a cheap bastard, so I like free shipping. But I was like, I want to get this thing really fast. I want it for the podcast. So I decided to buy just the regular shipping, which was like $3. I'm like, whatever. So the movie was $15 with $3 shipping and handling or something like that. I was like, that's cool. And then I noticed there was fucking tax. And I was like, when the fuck did Amazon start charging tax?
September 1st.
Yep, I looked up that the second after that happened. Well, I was like, I'm already fucking here. I'm at the checkout. I'm going to buy it anyways. I'm not going home now. But, yeah, so I was like, they instated tax on Amazon. It was like, they just blew my mind. Because the main thing about buying off the internet, that was the one thing, is like, I never have to pay tax. I might have to pay shipping and handling, but I don't pay tax. I know there's always been a few cats out there, they always kind of will put tax. Like when you buy from eBay and you're like, that motherfucker, and you already purchased the item, so you can't really go back now.
Yeah.
But they don't tell you that. Or they put it in fine print where you can read it, but it's not right there in the front. You get too excited about what you're looking at. You're like, it's only $10. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh, there's tax now. It's like that $1.72 I don't want to pay.
Yeah.
The government sees a cash cow like Amazon. They can't help but just jump in on that.
Well, I mean, I see nothing wrong
And
with
they
tax.
tried for days.
Because that's how tax, I
Took them
mean,
a
I know what
long
tax
time.
does. That's how, like, the fucking U.S. works. That's how any country works is because of tax, generally. But I don't know. That's always kind of been the thing, because, if I want something here and now, I'll go to the store, I'll pay a little extra, I'll pay the tax, but I get it here and now. But when I buy off the internet, most times it's like, okay, I pay the shipping and handling, I get it a little bit cheaper, and I don't have to pay tax, but I gotta wait 3 days or 5 days or something like that.
Yeah.
I always thought that was the trade-off. I know most people out there. It's like yes, that's how business works. That's your trade-off.
Yay!
3 days, or you have to pay tax.
There you go. I like it. I think they should do it that way then.
Well, in 2009, Arnold Schwarzenegger actually vetoed that tax for the Amazon in California because it's actually not in every state. It's only in a handful of states. California being the main one, which affects us.
That's because California likes to tax.
Well, there's
Much
a lot.
as we can.
Oh,
Sadly
yes.
enough, like the online tax is why I've switched from a lot of companies. I used to buy my supplements and stuff from not Vita. Well, I buy from Vitacost now in Nevada, but I bought them from Nutrition Express. But that's in Southern California, so once again, I'm not going to pay shipping, handling, and tax. So I decided to buy from Vitacost because it's in Nevada. There we go. Everything worked out.
That's why my parents and I were actually looking at buying cars in Nevada instead of California.
But I always thought that if you bought a car in Nevada and you brought it over, you still have to pay the tax. Really? You can get around that?
Yeah.
You just not saying
You
it?
just, well, because you still have to pay to register. You have to pay to register any vehicle in California, so you still have to pay that. It's not like in Nevada, if you buy a car in Nevada, then you just go and register. It doesn't cost you anything. But when you bring a car into California, you still have to pay to register it. So it's still going to cost you a fucking arm and leg on that. So yeah, you
Well.
don't pay tax on the car when you get the car, but when you bring it into California, you got to pay to basically have the car still.
Yeah, I missed one back there. Is this just California, or is it?
As far as I know.
For the Amazon tax,
Of course
this
it
car,
is.
'cause
The
this
car
back to
thing.
this car thing really quickly, because I always thought for my entire life. I remember I asked my dad that when I was a kid. I was like, well, why doesn't people just go to Nevada or Oregon to go buy these things? You know, it's a car. That's a lot of fucking money. That's a lot of tax.
Because people are lazy.
I guess I always just thought that it was just like you had to pay the tax no matter what, unless you like kept it, unless you just back in the day when you could get like a PO box and that was considered an address,
Yes.
so you could get that anywhere in other states. But there's one more thing about that tax I wanted to say.
Amazon related?
Well, not Amazon related, about that car tax. But now I lost my. Oh, you know what also makes me angry about that car tax though is when a Native American buys a car, if they take them back to their Indian reservation, they have to take it back there. It can't exist on the car lot. It has to exist in Indian territory. Then they don't pay tax on that.
Oh, that's really stupid.
Well, I mean, like they're getting all this money. If anything, can they at least pay taxes? I mean,
Yeah.
really, I don't mind. Like they're gonna
I
make all
think,
this
yeah,
money.
I think at this point they are now up to par with the rest of us, so they can pay taxes
They can pay
like the
I mean,
rest
come
of
on,
us.
taxes were like that's the one thing is I think it's like if you charge sales tax on everything and you made the sales tax your main tax, no matter what, you get any immigrant would pay taxes, any tourist would pay taxes, any illegal person would pay taxes,
Yeah.
anybody would pay taxes because everybody's got to buy shit at some point.
Oh,
You
yes.
can't get around that.
Yeah, no.
I mean, when I was in Nashville, they had tax on food, which was kind of interesting because it was a 10% tax on food,
Holy shit.
and that's where they fucking
Pretty
got
pricey,
you.
yeah.
There was no wage taxes. I don't think there was any living taxes except for the federal one. But they got you on like your fucking sales tax, which that means I bought a lot of things offline again.
Yeah.
Was rent
Thank you, Nevada.
Was rent and whatnot pretty cheap?
Yeah, rent was cheap. It was like $600 for like a one bedroom with everything included, pretty much.
So Tennessee was generally just a lot of sales tax.
It was the sales tax. That's where they get you at. Everybody gets you at somewhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was the only downfall because food, because you can't really get away from food.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
you can
I
buy everything
think that's
online.
actually kind of a good idea. A little steep at 10%, but that is kind of a good idea that it like tax the food, but to do exactly kind of what they did, like cut back on wages, taxes, and stuff like that. So it's like you have more money to actually be able to live your life.
Mm-hmm.
You're just getting taxed on, like food and stuff like that. So instead of it being pulled out of your daily wages, you end up just spending it.
So it's like however you spend, that's how you like.
Yeah, so it's like you have a little bit more control over your money, I feel like, instead of your money going, being taken to pay this tax, this tax, this tax, this tax. It's just like, are you kidding me? Like, I hate getting my pay stubs sometimes and have to look at, oh, yes, look at how much I took out for something I'm never going to use.
Well, that's what Jesse Ventura, when he was governor, he had it. The sales tax was the main tax.
What was he governor of again?
Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and he had it so just everything was sales tax, and that was the exact reason. Don't punish anybody for wanting to save a little bit of extra cash. You know what I mean? So it's all for people that's spending money, and everybody's got to spend stuff, no matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're like from here, illegal, on vacation. Everybody's buying shit, so you pay taxes, and I think that's a good way to go about it. Just have a higher sales tax.
Makes sense, really.
But
at least your money's going towards something you can wanted in the first place.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to save up, you can save up.
Yeah.
But pretty much if they do that tax, I think they said they're going to be like the estimated value is they would like earn over the year like $200 billion or something like that.
Shit.
200 million. No, million. Take that back. Not billion.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say,
that's not
wow.
a fucking lot. That's what they did probably in every state, maybe. But the $200 million extra cash for California.
That'd be nice.
We could use some of that right now.
So I
Yeah.
mean, I can see where that kind of goes. And the thing about that, it's like kind of like Amazon still kind of got the balls on like the. I mean, eBay's there too, but Amazon's really the main site of probably buying. On
Yeah,
the internet. So
I still
where
I
are
still
you gonna
buy from
fucking
Amazon.
go?
I'm like one of the only people who doesn't buy online very often.
Oh, I
Yeah,
have
you,
to.
You did your first Amazon purchase like 2 weeks ago or a month ago or
That was
something.
probably my second, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, it was your first Amazon account purchase. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to buy lots of books for school off Amazon. I bought shoes because my feet are unfortunately so tiny. I can't buy shoes at a regular store.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm a size 5.
There's a violin playing right now.
It's so sad, I know. Well, at least that's why I have the internet. As long as I can find size 5s, and there are other women out there, so they do make size 5s. You
Mhm.
just gotta find them online.
Well, it's like Cisco and fine shoes. His feet were like size, 16 and a half. So,
Yeah.
Like, I remember as kids going to rent skis and they didn't have boots in the right size.
Yeah, pretty much. Or they're like, I don't know, this is the biggest boot we got. See how comfy it is.
It seems like a really sad like moment out of a movie. Sorry, you can't go skiing. You know, some sad kid with his head down.
This giant floppy feet walking away.
But yeah, it's like Amazon. I buy just about everything off either Amazon or eBay. I switch back and forth. Whoever's got the cheapest price, I buy from. You know, that's really where I get everything. Because nowadays, there's just no like the stores are all box stores nowadays. They're all corporations, and I know like when you buy off Amazon, eBay, that's a corporation itself. But at least there's a little man out there who's trying to make a living, and I can buy from him.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
You can find that little person that you're like, oh, at least I'm helping somebody.
So Jerry Brown, he let the tax. He said, "Let's do the tax," and I kind of understand it. I mean, I'm going to complain a little bit about it. The first time I saw it, it kind of made me angry, but I understand where it's coming from, and whatever. I'll just keep buying things off eBay, I guess.
I was going to Amazon,
But
I
fuck
understand it.
That extra $1.82, I don't want to pay.
It's funny you're saying I understand what they're doing. I'm not too angry, but fuck them. Fuck you, Amazon. Never again. eBay only.
Oh, I'll buy
Yeah.
there from time to time. That's really gonna make me start thinking each time. I'm gonna calculate that tax into there.
Of course you will.
I will.
Make 'em suffer.
Now the thing about that though, I think it's just on straight up Amazon though. So if you buy from a seller and say he lives in New York, I don't think you pay a tax though. That's
Okay.
what I was kind of reading on. I haven't bought something, so I can't say for
Yeah, I was gonna say-
for sure. But when I was reading up on it, that's what they said. It's really only when you buy directly from Amazon, which I call Amazon,
Yeah.
and or if it's in the California.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say, I
if you-
think
if you
my
just go
last
back to
purchase
my-
was in California.
Like mainly, I like to buy things from New York because they ship really fast. They got a good selection mostly, and I don't pay taxes. New York may have to pay taxes for themselves, but I don't pay taxes because I'm in California.
Nice.
So that's a lot to say about those taxes.
Is there any other current issues you want to go into?
Did anybody watch the debate?
I don't have TV.
Did you hear about the debate on the old radio box,
No, I heard about it on the good old Facebook.
the Facebook box?
Yeah, because apparently our generation has suddenly decided they want to get into politics this year, which is just so
I know
fascinating to read.
Some of you we went to high school with. I'm not saying any names, but some of you we went to high school with who never gave a fuck about politics before suddenly are just posting like
Right.
shit every other post regarding like Obama sucks, me, or other way around, whatever. you
Yeah.
know?
Well, it becomes like a bitch fest on like Facebook about politics. Like nobody knows what they're really talking about. But they're just
No.
like, Obama, he's black. He's uneducated. He had to work his way up.
Yeah, no.
Romney, and like, or they think it the other way around, just like Obama, yeah, he's gonna take Romney's head and like smash it in the ground. You're like, what the fuck is that? What are you watching?
Yeah.
Oh my bad, that was WWE.
Oh, sorry.
The guy was bald and black.
My dad had politics going on the TV next door. He kind of like started to mix after a while.
Oh god.
I think Obama could kick the shit out of Romney.
No, yeah, I think so. Romney would take out his money gun though and probably try to stop him.
He'd pull like a blunderbuss.
Full of like $100 bills. Like I can afford this shit. But when I was watching, I watched it on TV. And did you watch it on TV or did you listen to it on that podcast? Or?
I listened to what happened is I was unfortunately working that night, so I watched a good chunk of it on YouTube, just major segments of it.
Well,
And then I listened to it. I listened to like some podcasts talk about it.
Now, did you feel that Mitt Romney had kind of like these? I saw like he had this kind of gay look on him, where he was like blinking his eyes like rapidly, and he had this smile, but it just almost looked like a rape smile. Like every single time Obama talked, because they put like the picture up side by side, and it's like they're right next to each other. So you get to see Obama talking, and then you see Romney just sitting there blinking like at 100 miles per hour.
You can see like Obama looking down, looking kind of like flustered, like, is this motherfucker hitting on me?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think. Well, here's what I think. Here's what a lot of people say, and I'm going to say what I think. A lot of people think Mitt Romney won the debate, which he had an answer for everything. He had the guy's a good actor. I'll say that he's a good actor, and he had an answer for everything. He was well prepared, but he keeps on changing his stances, and he was saying things he's never said before. At the same time, and I'm not saying Obama is like the greatest person in the world. I like Obama. I'm not going to take a bullet for the guy, but I do like him. And but the thing about Romney is I don't like him at all. And he was saying things like, no, 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 I care, like with the creepy rape smile and the blinking eyes. I care 100% about this country. The rich, the poor boy, I mean the lower class, you know. And then he goes on to say if it's like, okay, dude, maybe if I'd believe you if just a few months ago you did not have a video of yourself saying fuck 47% of the country.
Yeah. Oh no, it's one of those ones, and he kept like trying to put down because Obama did all those things for like solar power and wind and all these kind of like environmentally friendly energies, and he's put them down. He's like, they didn't make any money. It's like, well, they've been stated for very little time.
That
they
stuff has to
they have to
build.
work their way up, you know. But yeah, you will see because I guess because since Obama's been president, like Romney's got way more ammunition to like blast out against him than
Yeah.
like Obama has to go against Romney because it's kind of like. Or you're a governor and you're rich, what have you really done other than that? You ran a little business.
Yeah, well, that's actually he apparently this was on Obama's like honeymoon. And he had all this shit going on. So you imagine after that debate that he lost, going home and just like, so you dropped our honeymoon for what? Michelle, I fucking know, you know.
That's why I didn't get that many emails from Barack Obama after that. He just said like, I did good, right?
Send me $3.
Send me $3 though.
No, you're being kind of quiet. What do you think?
Oh, I didn't watch
You
any
didn't
of
watch
it.
it? Oh,
No, I
okay.
have no idea. So this is between you two because I don't have TV.
Okay, all right, yeah. Well,
And I didn't know,
even...
so I had no idea it was on. I had no clue. And then I got on Facebook and people were posting about it. And they were posting a lot about like what was physically going on, like what they were doing, what they were looking at each other like. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. I haven't seen any of this. So.
Oh, sorry, you're about to say something.
Oh no, it's not a topic that pops up in my house. We kind of forget about it. We've isolated ourselves.
Yeah,
I don't blame you. It's kind of...
We've isolated ourselves. Like the only access we really have to the outside world is the internet, and if we don't know, because like I didn't get on Facebook till well after the debates were done, and I hate YouTube now. So
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, I hate YouTube now. So and it's like I don't really care that much that I really want to go on YouTube and try and find it and watch it.
Well, the debate was generally. I mean, I'll give credit where it's due. Romney presented himself really good. He had an answer for everything. I don't believe all those answers personally. I'm not trying to just bring him down for the sake of bringing him down. He's not very most trustworthy guy. Plus, he's talking about doing things that past Republicans have been doing, which hasn't been working out for us. And yeah, Obama. I mean, you can only get you can't even really get half the stuff you've done when you're in office to say you want to get done when it gets down to it.
Well, I like what Arnold Schwarzenegger said. He said this a couple days beforehand. He was on Piers Morgan, and he was just talking about. He's like, if you can get at least about 60% done, that's pretty darn good of what you set out to do. Because the thing is, you're working 24/7. It's not like those guys are doing absolutely nothing there. They're working as hard as can be. They spend sleepless nights working on this project. So people kind of bitch about these things, but these guys are going full steam at it. You can't be like blaming these guys if they don't get something done.
And Obama has had less vacation than any other president.
Mm-hmm. And a long time. Since they probably kept track of that sort of thing.
Lincoln might have him beat, but
I don't know. I felt like he probably worked pretty hard too. I mean, he pretty much kind of.
No, I'm saying Lincoln.
Wait.
I'm saying Lincoln has him beat as far as like not taking vacations. I'm saying.
Oh. I see what you mean.
Yeah, but no, I think there's gonna be more debates. I think he'll have another chance. Before this, Obama was really ahead in the polls. I don't know if he still probably is fairly ahead. I think a lot of the more undecided people, I'm not going to say a bunch of them, but some of the more undecided people might be tilting more towards Romney now, but I guess time will tell. I haven't really watched any news since the day after the debate, so I'm a little behind myself.
I feel like the debates they're important, but I don't think that's the really thing that makes people make their ultimate decision. Maybe it gives like a 5% throw off chance, maybe, but that's people are gonna vote for whoever they choose.
I think the only thing that could totally fuck over Obama in debate is if he just got up into like, we would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. I'd fuck me hard. Starts doing that, like, starts to strip to, like, that Goodbye Horses song and
Feel like
does the
Silence of the
tuck.
Lambs.
Yeah, just, I think that's really the only things he can do to make everybody not vote for him.
No,
Suddenly.
yeah, you can do things like that, and I don't know. Then you might get all the freaks going like, yeah, man, Obama. I do that every morning,
After I get done spreading peanut butter across my chest, yes.
and letting the dog lick it off to me while I lie naked on the hard wooden floor.
Well, that's
Watching
shut awkward.
iCarly.
I don't even know what that is.
My nephew's watching Nickelodeon. It's apparently like one of those like kid teen.
Oh, Nickelodeon makes me
Sitcoms.
sad now because when I was a child, it was nothing but cartoons, and now it's nothing but annoying, whiny little girls.
Well,
This is what that
hasn't
show is.
Nickelodeon become like almost like a reality TV show?
It's
A
sad.
lot of them
Station.
are, yeah.
Like even if they're like animated, they're still like a reality TV style show.
Mm-hmm.
Like what the fuck is that kind of shit?
That's weird.
They had like some of the. I'll say this. I mean, people are gonna roll their eyes when they hear this. Some people will, because not all the shows. Like there's some actually pretty high quality shows on Nickelodeon back in the day. Like you can say, okay, Ren and Stimpy, for instance,
Oh,
not
God.
exactly the most intellectual show. There's hidden adult innuendos in that show like no other.
Yeah.
Another one with the hidden adult innuendos, but like yet you could tell the guy who made the show. I don't have his name on me, but the guy who made the show, he did not want to make a children's show. You could tell he wanted to have a show that was on at like 9 o'clock on Fox or Comedy Central or something. Rocco's Modern Life.
I loved Rocco's Modern Life.
Because that show had a lot of stuff that kids couldn't even really relate to. It was a kid's show. There's no way a kid can really relate to that. Because they have an episode about him going to the DMV and all the shit you got to put up with going to the DMV. There's one about the whole episode is about finding a parking space at the mall. Just, I mean,
Yeah.
it's really small stuff like that, but it's like stuff no kid could really relate to, really, but you almost kind of like taught you in a sense. It was really funny to top it off.
I loved it. Are you kidding me? It's one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
No, I remember that because I wasn't a big fan of Nickelodeon nearly as much. I was always a Cartoon Network fan and a Fox Kids, but that show was one of the few shows on Nickelodeon I watched.
I wasn't cool enough for her to have Cartoon Network.
Well, I had satellite, so like it was kind of the thing. Is like if you had cable, you mostly watched Nickelodeon. If you had satellite, you mostly watched Cartoon Network. I noticed that was kind of the difference.
Yeah, because one of my best friends growing up, she was a satellite kid and she had Cartoon Network. That's the only time I got to watch it was at her house, and I loved like Dexter's Laboratory.
That was one of my
I-
favorite shows. Right
Oh
there.
yeah.
Well, so you didn't really realize it when you're a kid, but it's really like Cartoon Network's just the Hanna-Barbera station when it gets down to it.
The early, back in the olden days, it was. Yeah, olden days being the 90s.
I think it
Yeah,
I think
right.
I think it's just full on owned by Hanna-Barbera though, because that was like all their original programming was all Hanna-Barbera.
I think they're originally owned by Hanna-Barbera, then Warner Brothers bought them up.
Oh, do they own them right now?
Warner Brothers owns Cartoon Network now. Yeah,
Yeah, that's why the Looney Tunes are on Cartoon Network.
Oh, that's
there's
cool.
a new Looney Tunes show.
There is really well. I'm really.
Yeah,
bad
they
with
made a
times.
new one. I did see that before I moved out of the Bay Area.
Mhm.
But they also, in the middle of the day, because that's what I do in the middle of college when you have nothing to do, you go home and watch the old school Looney Tunes on Cartoon Network.
Nice. I do like the old school ones.
Those school ones are still pretty good to this day.
Yeah, they run those, and that's when I kind of figured out. I was like, well, then Warner Brother must have rights to Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
So they still got all the
Cool.
Hanna-Barbera stuff on there though, right?
That's primarily that's if it's 2 in the morning or if you got Boomerang, which is
Yeah,
owned by Cartoon
Boomerang.
Network.
Yeah, I was gonna
They-
say.
Because before it used to be like Cartoon Network was the old nostalgia with all the old Hanna-Barbera stuff, and then they eventually started bringing in new stuff. Like, oh, let's create some new Hanna-Barbera cartoons like Johnny Bravo, Cow
Yeah.
and Chicken,
Dexter's
Dexter's
Lab.
Laboratory.
Courage, the Cowardly Dog.
Yeah,
Oh, I loved
they had
Courage.
such fucked up shows in the 90s when you stop and think about it, but now. And then I think they kept on like, we're running out of stuff for our old shows, so let's just throw that on Boomerang. Like, it's Batman the Animated Series is on Boomerang. Justice League Unlimited was on
Well,
Boomerang.
nowadays I watch Boomerang. I'm like, what the fuck? That's not a classic show. It's like
Pokemon Season 1 was
20
on.
years old. I guess it sort of is now.
Well, no, but like Justice League Unlimited Season 1 was on there.
Well, that's like 2004 or something, right?
Yeah.
That's well. See, that to me is like, what the hell? I mean,
Yeah, that doesn't seem that old to me.
that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those ones. Like I just remember when I was a kid, it's like one of the main shows I liked to watch a lot was Johnny Quest, and one of my many stories of life that like I got so in that show. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. It was on there for like a month, and then they took it off. And it
Yeah.
took me forever. And then they brought out that new Johnny Quest show. I started watching that one a lot.
The one where the creators had a real boner for Tron.
Yeah, pretty much. Where there's like Quest Zone.
You're like, we're going to Quest Zone. It was like that very bad PlayStation 1 CG.
Mm-hmm.
It was still a good show.
I've
but
been
they
wanting to
went-
see it like an episode of that because it's like it's interesting to go back and look at the CG of those things.
Yeah.
Like when you watch that first Power Rangers movie, the CG at the end of that movie is just horrible.
When you see it when you're a kid, like, that's amazing. It's CG. It's not really there, but it looks like it's there. And you look like, oh, fuck, that's bad.
Yeah, right. It's like I watched some of the stuff from when we were kids, and I'm like, man, I fell for that as a kid. What the hell? But that was the innocence of the 90s.
Yeah, it really was. Like we,
We
Our-
didn't
our-
we
our
didn't
goal-
we didn't expect the top of the line. So when they did the bottom of the barrel, we were like, "Fuck yeah, that's amazing."
Well, it's really the innocence of almost any generation.
I
Yeah.
guess, but I just feel like in the '90s, we lived at a time when like internet wasn't in everybody's houses. Our toys were a lot more simpler.
You don't really see kids play with action figures anymore.
No, that's one thing I always say.
No.
Action figures and just toys in general, I feel
No,
like are
you
really
don't. Yeah, you
dead.
don't see kids with toys because you see kids with electronics.
You see them with toys, but it's more like you see them. They don't play with toys past the age of like 5 or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, toys are really for like infants now.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. I don't like it.
It's seriously, we're getting to that point like in Back to the Future 2 when he goes to play the light gun game, and the little kids look at him like, "You have to use your hands. That's a baby's toy." That's really what we're coming to.
Yeah, right.
Well,
God.
here's this. I don't really want to be like. There's some things I understand, but I don't really want to be resentful to like the next generation just because things are changing. Because I remember there's a time.
Things are changing.
Well, no, there's a time. I remember I was a kid. I must have been like probably 10 years old, and maybe I was like 9 or 8, and I was buying this Spider-Man action figure. It was like say a foot tall Spider-Man action figure. It cost me like
Fuck, a foot tall action figure.
foot tall action figure. Yeah,
That's a good size one.
and
Yeah.
it was really I'm not sure if it was like some Mexican off-brand one or something, but it was like it somehow was like $7. They had a bunch of Marvel ones, and I bought the Spider-Man one.
Well, action figures
And
back then weren't that expensive. Like nowadays, you say $7, and it's like.
Well, no, usually back then,
Like-
even these ones would be like say like $15 or something.
Really? Because I always thought
Okay.
like an expensive action figure was $5 back in the day when I was a kid, and like the cheaper ones were like $3. Like all the Star Wars ones were always $2.99.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll get back on Star Wars in a second. 'Cause I got a lot of Star Wars history there. But I remember walking out of the store, and I was with like an older relative. It's like, what is that you got there? It's like, it's a Spider-Man toy. Like, you paid money for that? I'm like, yeah, I did. She's like, back in my day, we weren't able to waste money on such things. Were useless. Just that thing that puts you like in your fucking like 10-year-old space. Like,
You're like,
oh.
Really? Did I do something wrong?
Did I do something wrong? I took out the trash. I picked up dog shit. I mowed the lawn.
And I got something I really wanted, but now I'm not too sure.
Yeah, now I'm feeling like an asshole. So it's one of those things. I that moment right there, it was kind of like a defining moment. I will never be resentful to a younger generation for having things a little better, but at the same time, there is a place where you draw a line. I know I'm not trying to backstep on what I said there, but I mean, like what you said, like last time you were here, where a kid hopped into like a pool, and he comes out like, "Oh, my iPhone was in there. It's okay. Mom, buy me a new one."
Yeah,
What you
that's
said
just,
last
oh
time, yeah.
God, yeah. When that little kid jumped in and it was just like a phone, but still, I'm like, man, you're fucking 12. Why do you even need a phone? Like, honestly, where are
Yeah.
you going that your parents aren't gonna be right behind you?
And
Mhm.
who the fuck do you know? That's what
Yeah,
I'm
like
saying.
that too. It's like who, like.
You have probably 5 friends.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, well, I talked to my girlfriend. I'm like, what the hell do you kids talk about? Like,
Other than-
seriously?
Other than fucking Angry Birds, what do you gotta do
like-
on that iPhone?
I don't understand. They're like, oh, well, I like to talk to my girlfriend. And I'm like, what?
How old was this kid?
He was like 12, and I'm like, dude, what are your conversations with your girlfriend? There are air quotes around that one. Fucking girlfriend. Are you kidding me? You guys are 12. The fact that you guys peck, like once or twice behind the wall, like us lifeguards are tarted and don't know what the hell's going on. We see you.
Who's your
We do.
favorite brat?
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, and it's so funny because they're like, oh, I have a boyfriend. I'm like, you've been talking to this kid for a week and a half on the phone, and you pecked behind the wall.
Well,
I don't know if I'd call that a boyfriend.
Just take a step back before we go on like values.
I
and,
want
like,
to say something about the
okay.
boyfriend. My favorite thing always to tell them was like, is this boyfriend actually something real? Like, not like a figment of your imagination. I love that.
Spencer
That was
sent
so
me water.
sneaky. Yeah, that was so sneaky. I loved it.
It could have been sneaky. You could have kept on talking while I was pouring water.
Oh, I kind of ran out of things to talk about there. But one thing
He
I
got
want to say
distracted.
back
He
on
got
Dunigan's
distracted.
story, because like I remember like when you'd go to buy something, generally like if I bought like a new game, or when I say new game, I meant I bought a used game, but it was new to me. But like where like you'd be in the store, or even you're buying an action figure or something, and you're just like looking forever. You know, you'd spend like a fucking like half an hour or an hour looking. You know, and your parents are sitting there waiting. They're like, you gotta give them a lot of credit. They're pretty damn patient when it gets down to
Yeah.
it. Like you feel like they're being kind of like you're like the pressure's on, the fucking timer's going down.
Well, your dad
Tick,
was
tick, 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 tick.
your dad was patient.
Oh yeah, you're definitely with me. But like, I remember like, and you'd finally decide on what you want. You're like, this is what I want. This is the exact thing I want. And you're like, this is what I'm gonna get, like dad or mom. And then they ask the question like, are you sure that's what you want? And then in your brain, it's just like rattling. You're like, I don't know. Was this what I wanted? I was sure about it like 5 seconds ago, but now I'm not too sure anymore. Now I started contemplating it. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And I remember like that problem was like I hated that question. Like, are you sure this is what you want? Is that what you want to spend your money on? And you're like, I don't know. I got $30 now. Whoa, there's so much I can buy.
Do I want Johnny or do I want Haji? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Even though back then, like for $30, so you could get like the entire Johnny Quest collection.
Yeah.
Oh god.
No, my whole thing, I just want to jump back on this real quick. Just my whole thing is the point I was trying to make earlier. I'm not going to be angry at kids for like abandoning, say, action figures and going on to more cooler things like digital products or whatever. That's fine. It's just more of like, I don't mean, okay, video games, handheld stuff, fine. It's just more of just this whole social network, having like a phone. Why the fuck does a kid need an iPhone?
Yes.
Why does a little kid need like like the top of the line iPod? You know, I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
that's
when they're older, like teenage
When you
years.
can
I
afford
understand.
it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I didn't get a cell phone until I was in high school, and that's only because I did a traveling sport. So
Yeah.
just in case it was like, I got home early, I can call my mom, or if we were gonna run a little late, I could call my mom and let her know.
Yeah, there's reason.
And
to
then
it.
eventually, get your license and move on that way.
Mhm.
But before that, it's like, who drives you to all your special events and your little dates before you have your license? That's right, your parents. Who's gonna pick you up? Your parents.
Exactly.
Like, who the hell are you gonna call outside of your parents? Your little friend you just spent 5 minutes with, that you're gonna get on the phone with and talk to him for like 15 minutes, and be like, because you don't know what the hell to say.
So did you see Ice Age 4?
Yeah, like, what do you talk about? Really?
Maybe to get together, they have these things on YouTube. It sounds like the gayest thing ever, but that's why I don't like go on it. Where like you and your
That's
fucking
clarifying.
buddies in like your Google Plus account can sit down and all watch the same fucking YouTube video, but from different computers.
Somebody sent me a request for that through Facebook. I was like, nah, I'm good. Thank
No,
you, though.
I'm like I still enjoy a social endeavor every once in a while. I don't need fucking. That is too weird in my opinion. Everybody's at their own computer watching. I mean, it's not like you call up your buddies and like, dude, check out this YouTube video. It's like
Mhm.
you get together on the internet for one already, which is kind of weird.
It's for the ultimate shut-in. It's just like World of Warcraft is like the new Dungeons and Dragons for the ultimate shut-in. You still get to have your little group of friends, but you don't ever actually have to be in the same room together.
It's like Dungeons and Dragons, but you don't get to meet together every week.
Yeah, instead you get on like little headsets and you talk to each other, but you have no fucking clue who they are really.
This is gonna be like a step back for a second. It's gonna seem a little off topic, but this relates to what you guys were just saying.
Relate.
Relate, man. I'm making like 90's hand gestures for those of you listening at home. There was a review for the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the video game, which that game is totally awesome. If you guys haven't played it, download that game. It is sick.
Oh, I love the movie with a fiery passion. I love the
The
movie.
movie and the comics are amazing. The game's really good too. Check out
everything Scott Pilgrim is badass. They haven't like made anything bad off that yet.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to play the video games, but I don't know
It's-
anybody who has them.
I have it.
Shocked.
Might have to play it after this, but you might think it would just be it's just a quick download they came out with around the same time of the movie. Can't be that good. No, it is a very solid A grade game. It's awesome. But anyway, there's a review, and the guy was pretty much giving it a good review. He says the biggest downside to it. I mean, he said the biggest downside to it is there is no online play, and I can understand that. But then what goes on to say, so it means you literally have to go to your friend's house and breathe the same air. Back in '94. It's like this whole game runs off 90's nostalgia. The whole series runs off 90's nostalgia.
That was Game Informer that fucking said that. Because I remember reading that. I was like,
This is an IGN review. The one I'm talking about. Maybe
really?
They said the
Literally,
same thing.
Game Informer said the same fucking thing too. Because I remember that
Maybe
exact
same
same
guy.
words
Or the
almost.
same magazine, different magazines.
I mean, maybe not like exactly, but that's the same thing he says. He's like, yeah, the one downfall is you see all your buds on there playing this game, and you can't play along with them. So then you got to bring them on over.
But
So
that's
it's
just
forcing you to be social in reality. Oh dear God, what a concept!
The game, because it's an old beat 'em up. The games that's emulating and trying to be, and all the references it makes to, it's games you would have to go to an arcade to play, or go to your friend's house and play
Yeah.
Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo, and that's like
The good classic games. They're called a classic for a reason. They were awesome.
the days where I don't know, just the old nostalgia days. Just have like game cartridges all over the floor, like controllers tangled up. Like takes 20 minutes to almost find the controller, but still, that you almost get nostalgic thinking about it.
But like on
And
those
for boys, it was always Sunny D, not orange juice.
Sunny D.
Sonny D.
Yes.
Tang.
The
Yeah.
number.
Yeah.
Oh, good God, you were a Tang
In my
kid.
house, we used to have this thing we called the Tang bar. I had Tang, like lemonade, and like Gatorade, and you could like
All
like,
powder form.
Straight fucking baller.
Yeah.
That's how you were.
When you're fucking 10 years old and you're out playing Resident Evil and stuff, it was like, Tang Bar! Go over, make a drink, fucking shoot it up. It's like, I'm ready to go again. That was my Mountain Dew.
Right, yeah. I didn't drink fancy sodas.
You kids in your Tang bars.
But actually, as far as those games go, you know that they've actually had internet gaming since like the regular Nintendo? It didn't exist in
Really?
America, but the Famicom in Japan, they
Ah.
had it set up. They said only like 50,000 or like people had, but you could actually
Only
play.
50,000 people.
Yeah, but it's in Japan though. So, it's
So
like,
they're
it's like
90% related.
It's like a 4x4 block or something.
Awesome.
But so they had it on the regular Nintendo, and they just had a little bit there, and they tried to sell off like you can check your stocks and stuff too, and that really didn't interest people that too much back then.
Yeah.
You
Like,
had a Famicom.
yeah. And then they had it on the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, which like you really play like a couple games like Mortal Kombat 2 and stuff, but that was like the original things where you could actually play internet. It blew my fucking mind when I heard that like you could play a Super Nintendo on like the internet.
Dreamcast was
Wow.
the first to really like.
Yeah, to
use
really
that,
like
right?
emphasize it, like and have it actually built in. But yeah, that was before back in the days when when the gang came over and you went to the clubhouse and you hooked up your Super Nintendo N64 and boy you had a gas.
Yeah.
With the same, with like 8 like extension cords leading to the treehouse.
Of
Exactly,
course.
because you had to borrow like electricity from your parents.
Yeah.
Neighbors maybe, depending what outlet was closer.
Yeah, depending like where your treehouse was. I remember that was like the ultimate thing when we were kids. It was like taking video games and like where could you play it that was not fucking indoors. Like the idea of like I remember my friend Kyle.
Oh,
He literally built the outdoor like during the summertime. He built the outdoor house. He took a big tent, put it outside, laid down carpet inside there, put a
I
bed
remember
in
this.
there. Yeah, put a fucking dresser, his CD player, a VHS player, a TV, and his PlayStation.
oh, see, I lived on my parents' deck.
That sounds like Kyle.
Yeah, it was fucking like it
Yeah.
was like the coolest thing, but it felt like you're in a fucking room. It was set up like I don't know.
It had all the comforts of home, but not actually with parents anywhere around.
That's actually.
It was our independence here in the mountains. What do we do to run away? We don't actually run away. We just set up a tent in the backyard. It's like, go away.
It's actually kind of funny. It's like I love the mountains, but what could make the mountains better? Sega Genesis. You know?
Well, I remember
Well, see, that was the fun thing is it's like all the kids nowadays, they quite literally do play games just locked indoors, and it's like that's all they want to do, and it's because it's all online, and you can't really take online with you outside yet.
One of my
Yeah.
nephews.
But
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
But like when we were kids, it's like, yeah, if you weren't playing a video game, you were at least playing outside. But even when you were playing video games, you tried to play them outside.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Like we were like in that mixed stage between like playing outside. Like we didn't know what to do, so we took the video games with us outside.
Yes.
Well, I remember like we would do stupid things like when it really sounds like they made these GameCube screens. Now this is not the 90s, this would be the 2000s by this point. But it was like the fucking coolest thing ever. It was like a 5-inch screen that hooked to the top of your GameCube. But we'd go out in the treehouse and play it because it had like a little battery pack too, and then play like a 4-player shooter game. So everybody's now got this like 1.5-inch screen to like watch.
I want to take a step back for a second. Is this your treehouse or Cisco's treehouse?
This is Cisco's treehouse.
Okay, because your treehouse looks like it's about to fuck. I cannot imagine 4 people up in that treehouse crowded around a goddamn like GameCube.
Yeah, my treehouse is like higher in the trees, and it's kind of almost like a fucking like Little Rascals treehouse.
At some point, someone's gonna fall through. Yeah.
It was pretty stable though; it won't go away, but it's just kind of small. And like, well, now you go up there as like an adult, and you're like, whoa, the fucking rails aren't like high enough anymore. If I walk into this, I'm gonna fall 3 stories down. But no, Cisco's treehouse actually really isn't technically a treehouse. It's a fort built about 100 feet away from the house with electricity, a heater, and a cable outlet.
That's
Why the fuck do they sell that house?
Well, the thing I was like,
well. See, okay, that's not a
Cisco
treehouse.
never, like-
That's an in-laws quarters. That's where.
Well, Cisco like never liked to sleep out there, and I thought me and Kyle thought that was the fucking coolest thing in the world. We camped out there so many times,
That's because Cisco was afraid.
and it was just was
Well,
once.
we don't gotta bring up that. We don't gotta bring up like talk shit on him. He's not
He's
here.
not-
talking
it's not
shit on him, I'm
talking
just saying,
shit,
like that
it's-
treehouse was the fucking bomb, and I don't know how. Like, I mean, if I had the,
I understand
if I
it.
had
Like,
that fucking
Yeah.
treehouse outside my house right now, I would live in it. People wanted to rent that fucking treehouse out from Cisco.
and I love how you keep calling it a treehouse when it's like almost obviously kind of some kind of a small apartment.
Well, it had a house. It had a tree literally going through it.
Yeah, there was a tree going
Ah,
through it. So, I
okay.
mean, it's technically built on like stands, but
See, I had a tree house because we had an oak in my backyard. It was there when we moved into the house, but it was an oak that if you're from the mountains, you've seen this. an oak that has a hole grown into it.
Mhm.
So, you
Oh,
can go
yeah.
inside of it. And then the guy just basically sawed off the top and then built a house on top of the oak tree.
What?
So we would there's a ladder hanging inside the tree. You just go in the tree and climb up into the tree house. And I had chicken wire for windows. And some of the
Nice.
walls were a little blown out on the inside because we shot them with paintball guns. But
That's
it
pretty
happens. It got condemned, though, by the time I was like 14 years old for Black Widows.
I never.
Yeah, see, that was the downfall of the like tree houses. Like, you'd always
Yeah.
get the spider attack at some point.
Oh, yeah.
I never had a tree house because, like I said before, I lived in San Jose for a good portion of my life. Then we moved up here. It was past the age of tree houses. So
Most of these Cisco stores also like we used to go there all the time in high school.
Yeah.
No, well, I guess because that thing had cable and electricity and a
Yeah.
fucking heater.
And
Like,
it was
had
fancy.
like all like the things you needed, pretty much. Well, Cisco said the only thing is if it had a bathroom, he said he'd go out there, but that
Yeah.
fucking 100 feet to the house was too much.
Hey, in the middle of the night up here, I could understand not wanting to go 100 feet in the dark.
Well, I guess, but he's like a center Dwayne Hart, where it's not like my house where there's actually literally nothing around it.
Yeah, your house is definitely much scarier.
But no, that thing was so awesome. I remember that other people said they were gonna come by and like chop that thing down and like drag it out like before Carlos sold it.
We're
Like,
gonna
people
steal
really just
just
that.
put
wanted
it on
to-
a trailer and just take it. Just move it out somewhere out in the woods.
Mhm.
We're gonna steal it. Awesome. I'd
No,
love
but-
to see that.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something before we got on the tree house and all that.
Kids' toys.
Kids. Actually, no. No. One thing about kids is they actually the other day, the other day, as in probably a year ago, one of my nephew's friends asked me what a CD was.
What the fuck? I've heard that question actually multiple times by this point, though. I've never heard it myself, but I keep hearing it from other people saying this.
Oh, that's sad. Like that's. You mean? Did you say it's the exact same thing as a DVD?
I
Yeah,
didn't
because
think.
like it's the thing.
Yeah,
about
I'm
CDs,
sorry.
I was
Yeah,
more
all
shocked.
that
I was more
mean is
shocked.
all CD means is compact disc.
The kid
That's
parent-
it.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, I mean, it's not like it's a completely foreign object, like a tape deck.
or a laser
Or-
disc even.
The
you
kid
know.
Yeah.
apparently pirates everything. So
Yeah,
Good
literally.
God.
But I mean, it's like
I mean, I can understand. Hey, what's an 8-track? Or
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
what's a tape?
Even
Like, I can
VHS,
understand
yeah.
that at this point. Yeah, like what's a VHS? I can understand that at this point, but a CD, really?
Well, I remember the one thing. I remember at the pool, a kid asked me one time. He was all, Spencer, what was PlayStation 1 like? Like it was I was a fucking World War II vet or something. Like telling him about
we
the
now
old.
return to the History Channel special of
PS1.
PS1.
Oh my
It's just like, well,
God.
let me tell you, son. PlayStation 1. That was a different time, you know.
That's when you had.
Back then, when we had dreams and ambitions, and we had to use our minds to fill in the polygons in between.
God.
When we dreamed of only a day that you could see Laura Croft's tits and their pixelated square.
Glory.
Exactly.
Good God.
That's the dreams that we had. Now we,
Literally see it.
in real life, because somebody out there decided to make it on their own.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, it's like questions like that, just like, it's like, dude, it's like,
It wasn't
you're not
that long
that
ago.
fucking young.
Yeah, really?
Another question was almost kind of like I got from I think it must be my nephew. This is but a few months back. He said, "What were Pogs?"
I've heard that one.
I can
gotta explain.
understand that one.
Yeah,
When-
I do
when I
understand that one, but I have heard that
When I
one.
explained it to him, I almost felt kind of like a caveman explaining the early style game. Like, okay, you put circle stack right here. You slam bigger circle on top of circle stack. They fall down. One's facing up, me keep. One facing down, you keep. Sound fair? Sound fair. That's
Yeah,
kinda what
like
it really
It
sounds
really
like.
does.
it was. Yeah, and it was such a phenomenon. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there were plenty of us girls that even actually partook in pongs. Like, we didn't quite get as excited as you boys about it, but hey, some of us did, and it really was just the most generic barbaric game ever, and we loved it.
Yeah, those pogs.
Let's
really...
build a tower, smash the tower, collect the tower. That's it.
And then
It's-
they would charge like 15 fucking bucks for like those like thick pog like you get like
Yeah,
the
you're like,
metal
yeah, the
slammers.
slammers. I still have one of those metal ones. It's the exact same size as a quarter.
Remember when you see them in stores, they would never just be, oh yeah, here's a slammer, just in like a little plastic case. I mean, they had some of those ones, but they had more of like
Behind
they'd be
the
behind
counter.
behind glass, like right next to like the diamond earrings or whatever, you know.
Yeah, my friend was like curious about it too. He's like, "Oh, I wonder how much pogs are going for on the internet." And he got on like eBay, I think it was, some website, and there's a dude who's like selling his collection for like $2,000.
Are they worth that much?
Yeah, well, some of them. And this is just like this is where, as a female, it kind of blew my mind. They have collector pogs, So there's like certain series and stuff like that, and some that were very special, I guess, with holograms, because holograms were like the coolest thing in the world in the 90s, and weird stuff like that. And it's like if you had all these right collections, this guy was selling off his for like $2,000 and shit, and there was like some individual ones that were going for like 150 to like $500. I'm like, what the
Jesus
fuck?
Christ.
It's a piece of cardboard, isn't it? Like, isn't that all this thing is?
We do
Well-
live in the age where people will collect anything and everything, and I
Yeah.
always feel like it doesn't matter what you collect. You collect something 50 years from now, it's gonna be worth money. It's just one of those ones people love shit that's like been around. Like, and anything is like, give it 50 years, and so much of that stuff's gonna be destroyed. So there's only gonna be so many left that's why people are gonna pay top dollar.
Yeah.
I remember they were like, I actually didn't really even get into Pogs. I want to be into Pogs. It was generally, I got like for a birthday gift, a friend of mine whose family was pretty loaded, they gave me, it was like the Extreme Pog Tournament. It was like, it was this, all right. The fact that they actually made like, when you're a kid, like cool, but the fact they actually made a setup for this boggles my mind today. Like, it was a plastic platform. You can lay like this, like kind of a, it's almost kind of like a mouse pad down. It said official Pog equipment going down for like the Pog leagues. And they had like
Ooh.
these slots you could place your Pogs down and play it. It came with a massive set of just Pogs. So after this, I'm like, I got this. I guess I gotta be into Pogs now. I guess I
Yeah,
got
fuck, it'd be rude not to.
Yeah. So, and the funny
You were
thing is,
guilted into Pogs.
yeah, it'll really almost take almost 20 minutes to set up before you could actually play. So by the time you set up during recess time, bell rang. Fuck. You know.
Well, I was kind of the poor kid, so I didn't really. All the Pogs I had came from like Doritos bags
Yep.
or like Taco Bell cups. So like I had some N64 ones from there. I had a couple like I think I had a Sonic one. I just had like these miscellaneous things, but like I never actually like had a set, or I never actually physically bought Pogs. They just kind of came free.
I got all the ones that my brother didn't want.
I got like I said, I got that big set that came with the.
You still have that set?
It's like probably in a box
Under the
somewhere.
house.
Under the house.
Of everything else.
Rats are living in it probably.
Mmm.
But no,
No rat wafers.
yeah.
Yeah, they're nesting in it. Oh, they love it.
It's probably all gone now. Probably the plastic thing's still there. But no, there's I had a bunch of Pogs that came with it, but then like what you said, I would get it from like cereal boxes. I remember our fucking cereal companies, they get you by the balls of this. I remember it's the biggest thing in the world to you. Like the toy inside the cereal box. Because remember they had like Sonic the Hedgehog Pogs in Cookie Crisp. Like, oh my god! You just freak out like, mom, we gotta get Cookie Crisp. You don't even eat Cookie Crisp. He looks at the box, sees Sonic the Hedgehog. Fucking god. Okay. I'll buy these, so I'm like, okay, I got Knuckles, I got Robotnik, I got Princess Sally, I got this, I got the Caterkiller or whatever it was called, Tails. I'm like, no Sonic. All right, the next one will be Sonic. So then go to the store.
Mom!
No,
Yeah.
I wasn't that
No.
kid. I wasn't that kid. But when we ran, they luckily still had them. Well, I thought luckily they still had them. We went that same set. They never had the Sonic. They never had Sonic. When you're a kid, all you wanted was Sonic at the end of the day. Never had him.
Yeah, that's because that's how I mostly got ours, was from cereal boxes. So yeah, it was like my brother would be on a mission for one specific one. He never got it, so I'd always get the little discharged ones.
I feel
Like, I don't like this character. Rah, rah. I'm like, awesome, I don't know what these are.
I feel like a piece of shit almost complained about that. Like, yes, back in our day, we went to the store to get Pogs, but they never had the Sonic one. It was truly the saddest day of our lives. It's like, that's what we gotta fucking complain about, really.
Well,
Oh,
the thing
God.
was, it's like, look how excited our generation got over
Yeah.
cardboard circles.
Well, I got something to say that kind of has to do with that. Remember when we were kids, when you could actually open a box and you didn't have to go on the internet or send shit in? Like, you could buy a Pepsi when they did their contest, open the lid, and it said free Pepsi. You go in and get it. Like, the prizes
Yes.
were literally underneath the fucking lid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you open a Cracker Jack box, you got a prize, not some fucking tattoo or a sticker. You got
Yeah, you got like
physical
a toy,
prize
some
that you could actually
plastic
play with.
toy. Yeah.
And like, do boxes of cereal still even have stuff? Because whenever I see
No.
boxes of cereals now, it's like always like send in like 6 like labels and pay $10 shipping and handling, and you get a DVD of your choice.
Yeah, well, because it's like, oh, you have to find the code, which is like,
Which is like
I got another
Bare-
set.
yeah, it's like you have to find a code, go online, get your parents' permission, send all, and it's just like, yeah, I kind of miss the days where I had to do was, oh, coupon. You cut out that backside of the box after you're done with it, and you walked into 7-Eleven and went, give me my free shit.
Well, I think this is what they did. I think nowadays this is what they kind of learned. They're like, people are getting too many fucking prizes, so we'll put the code on the bottom of it because generally nobody's gonna fucking deal with that, and like, most
Yeah.
likely the grand prize will be lost or thrown away and recycled. You know what I mean? Because like the thing is, I remember getting like those Coke ones or Pepsi ones, and you would open up and go like, oh, dude, I got a free Coke. Go back in. You got another free Coke. Go back in. The fucking person at 7-Eleven just wants to kill you by this point.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, it probably doesn't cost them, but still, it's just
Yeah, it's not like it
I
costs
remember
them
getting
nothing.
3 in a row, and it's like once like you probably can't, because now you can't do that. You have to go online to do it. You have to make a fucking account with Pepsi and stuff. You're like, I don't want to make a fucking account and get stupid emails from them.
Right?
I actually got this actually kind of goes back to like ordering the prize from the cereal box, not actually getting it itself. Remember, it was when Mario Paint came out.
Mm-hmm.
Mario Paint. This is like an age when like you can't go anywhere without seeing Mario shit or Sonic the Hedgehog shit. Back in the 90s, it was so hard to find that stuff, especially for a fan, you know?
Well, because you were a nerd if you liked it back then. Nowadays, it's like, ooh, it's vintage, and you're like, it's
Well,
not
like-
that
like,
fucking
you're-
vintage. I wore that shit when I went to school. Thank you very much.
Like you're a fucking nerd, Ryan. God.
You're not a
I
nerd,
know,
Ryan.
I'm giving you shit. I'm just giving you shit. No,
You're
what-
not a nerd.
The funny thing is, like, you get like in like Nintendo Power, you get like this like catalog that had like literally as much Mario shit as you could cover your entire house with. I mean, you could if you had like $2,000 to buy everything in here, your house could be as Mario and Nintendo as fucking possible. But you couldn't find any of that stuff in stores. It's like you
Yeah.
had to find like a catalog, and like no way that your parents are gonna order you like Mario bed sheets or a catalog or something weird like that.
But now you can't avoid Mario.
Well, no,
He's
it's like
everywhere.
you go anywhere. You go to
He's
FYE
like Mickey
Mario.
Mouse.
You go to fucking like Walmart Mario. You go anywhere.
You can go into Hot Topic, and they sell Mario stuff and Game Boy stuff like that all over the damn place now.
Well, anyway, I want to jump back on this real quick. This is back when it was hard to find. I remember Mario Paint just came out. Mario Paint just came out. So, and they have this. It was the stupidest thing, but this is the age where you can get anything you take anything that was Mario. You know what I mean? So they said like they had this thing. It was like a paint squirter, and it was like a paint squirter with Mario's head, and then a paint squirter with Toucan Sam from Fruit Loops, because that's where you're ordering it from, Fruit Loops. And I was just like, oh, like, you're gonna get one or the other, you know. So I'm like, you couldn't choose. They didn't give you a little option to choose.
No.
So I'm like, all right, well I'm gonna buy 2 so I can get enough of them, you know. So you get that way it ensures. What if I leave a little notes?
Insurance.
Not insurance, but like so ensures that I'll get one of the at least Mario. So you know, when I sent it in, I even had a note. I had enough for 2. I said,
Give me
please,
fucking Mario.
please let one of these be Mario. No, you know. And it was written like I mean, it wasn't written in crayon or nothing, but you could tell a child wrote this with
Love and
love.
determination.
Send it in. A box comes. Like, oh my, 2 Toucan Sams. Somebody really wanted to break a 6-year-old's heart that day.
That's
They were like,
awesome.
They're like, dude, Bob, I gotta show fucking. Look at this. This kid wrote a fucking note in crayons saying that he wants a Mario one. But the joke is, we don't got Mario. Oh, guess what? Actually, no, I got one right here. Watch, lighter. Oh, it's burned. Oh, yeah, high five. Fucking send that kid 2 Toucan Sam ones.
Let's go kick a sack of kittens, you know.
Good
That's
God.
what we do here. You know?
the
The
Toucan
Kellogg
Sam
Company.
Factory.
Oh, jeez.
Jesus.
I'm not gonna lie, I remember I think my favorite toy, and I would totally try to collect all of them, was they did Disney spoons
I
that you
remember
got,
those,
and
yeah.
they changed colors. So like
Oh,
you would get it, and it
yeah.
was like red, and then you dip it in your milk, and as you brought it out of your freezing cold milk, it was like blue, and you're like, oh, it's fucking amazing.
It's magic.
Yeah, and then you'd like eat it, and the heat of
it's
your mouth
Disney.
would turn it back to a different color. You're like, it's a fucking amazing, and it had all the different Disney characters and stuff. I love
It's
those
Disney,
things.
so you know it's magic.
Yes.
Well, they did have a lot of things too. Like a lot of companies had like just like cool fucking spoons you got from there.
Yeah.
And lots of those ones I know sometimes you had to send away from because like sometimes they'd give you like a pack. But back when they sent away from wasn't that bad. You bought 2 boxes of cereal and you paid $3 shipping and handling and you got like 4 of them or something. Like
Yeah.
So remember what today's all about, kids. It's about changing the times, politics, and Disney spoons.
I love Disney.
Well, back in the day though, we just really got things. They just weren't so bad to get things. Like nowadays, it just feels like you gotta do fucking like so much work that's almost not even worth it. But back then, it wasn't actually really that bad.
You just gotta suck Tony the Tiger's dick in order to get something.
Remember, I got stuff.
Come
Yeah.
on, Jimmy! It's great!
Oh God.
It's sugar frosted too!
Well, it's just I don't know. I feel like.
Did I cross the line there? It got
No.
quiet. Did I just cross
I was thinking at the same time in my head, and I
Yeah, I
lost
know, right?
translation.
Yeah, I started thinking.
I was
It
like, wait a
happens.
second, I think I remember getting something from Tony. was
I
that it?
like
No,
Frost-
I guess it was something different.
I like Frosted Flakes when I was a kid. That's so nice.
Says, you never paid your debt, Spencer. He's just standing outside your window. He's like an actually animated tiger.
Dude, remember that commercial
Oh,
in the 90s
God.
where it was like, hey, Tony, I love the things you do.
Yes!
Hey, Tony, I wish I could be you. The one and only tiger.
He's like playing like volleyball with kids and
Baseball.
shit like that. Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
remember the baseball or like hockey and stuff in the wintertime, and he always sucked. You'd always saw him like falling, and he's like, ah, and you're like, kids are like, Tony. You're like, dude, that's a tiger.
He was big and buff, so I wonder if there's ever that point like I don't know, like because that's really sugary cereal. I don't know how that tiger is staying in good shape eating that cereal. Is he like tripping and falling? Is he like taking like steroids? Is there ever like a cut of like one of those commercials where he just like has roid rage? Or he starts like punching the shit out of a kid that fouled him.
Really sure.
Come on, Timmy, it's great. Isn't winning just fucking great?
He's on a fucking
Oh,
sugar
like,
high.
Yeah, like his eyes bulging out, like red lined and shit.
Oh, jeez.
That cereal was always so sugary that as a kid, I thought the cereal was too sugary.
Yeah, that's why when I saw people like add sugar to Frosted Flakes, I'm like, what the
fuck?
fuck? Yeah, I'm like, dude, shit kicks my ass. Standard. I can only eat like half a bowl of it.
Like Patton Oswalt, like in fucking like what was it? Big fan when you see him like drinking Coke, he's like pouring sugar into the Coke.
Yeah,
It's like,
my
Jesus Christ.
God.
Let's see how quickly you can kill yourself.
Pretty much.
But I just remember, like,
I miss the innocence in the 90s. I'm not gonna lie.
the 90s was pretty
It was
innocent when it gets
innocent
down
from a
to it.
child's perspective.
Yes.
Yeah, when you look back on it, then there's a lot more shit going on. But as a kid, it was like I almost call it like it was like the last like age of like, because it was the
Sweet
last age before
ignorance.
the internet. Yeah, because
Yeah, it was the last age of sweet, bitter ignorance of not having to grow up by the time you're 13. You got
Well,
to
Yeah.
be a goddamn
nowadays,
kid.
kids are fucking growing up by the time they're like 8, really, when it gets down
Yeah.
to it. Because like they just get to see whatever shit they want on the internet. It's like, go check this shit out, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, there's stuff that like kids know that I'm like, are you serious? Like I didn't learn that until I was in high school. Like what the heck?
Like porn was almost a quest. You had to go out of your way to find it. You had to like almost like make some back alley deals in order to get porn when you were a child.
When you were a kid,
This is
like,
a boy problem.
when you were a
Yeah,
kid,
it was.
you didn't know about porn until that one friend brought it up. Because there was
Exactly.
always like that. When I was
Jerk off Jimmy.
Yeah, I said the jerk.
Yeah, I was gonna
call him
say,
jerk off
yeah.
Johnny.
There's always that one friend for you boys, isn't it? That one that's
That
got to
one
start the
that's
quest.
Like, dude, check this out. And you're like, what the
It's
fuck
a
is this?
boob.
You tell about yours and I'll tell about mine because we both got pretty individuals here.
Well, just about like the first person that explored porn, or
No,
like
just there's that kid that's
oh,
more
the
or less
jerk off Johnny of
the
life.
jerk off Johnny of life. He's more or less jerk off Johnny or whack off Jimmy, whichever you prefer. The kid who's kind of like he's not a bad guy, but he's a bad influence, and they always
Yes.
have the same exact traits.
It's the bad apple.
I got I'll spit mine out first.
You
And,
can go of yours if you want.
all right, I'm not gonna say his actual name because he wasn't a bad guy, but okay. He lived with his grandma. The front yard had a grocery cart just tipped over.
Hanging out.
There's a rope hanging from the tree in the front yard, which you think would be a tire. It wasn't. It was a milk crate. So
That's safe.
yeah, just a
That's
milk
safe.
crate that you just like knock around. You know,
Um,
just like baseball bat, just whatever tipped over. The grandma, very sweet lady, smoked all the time, sat all day, watched soap operas, had a lot of cats.
ugh.
You go upstairs. Now there would be. You don't like cats, I'm guessing.
I'm allergic to cats.
Oh, that'd be okay. There you go.
Yeah, I'm not a
All
fan
right.
of those things.
So you go upstairs, and on the right-hand side, I'm not going to go give a complete geography of the house, but right-hand side, her room, standard old person's room. Left-hand side of the house, this kid's territory.
I love it. It's not a room. We got territories
It's
back
territory. No, it was these two rooms. One was totally barren. Maybe it just had a milk crate. I don't know where the fuck he got these milk crates from, but he just had milk
Hey,
crates.
it came from like hippie generation because I had a lot of milk
then. Yes.
crates.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have a lot of milk
crates.
crates.
Like were TV stands and like they held your books,
He had,
put your DVDs in them. I guess nowadays.
He had a
Yeah.
milk crate in the far corner of this room. Next room was technically his room. It was almost like Kenny's room from South Park. He had
Aw.
like a Budweiser. He had like a Budweiser calendar from 1987.
Awesome.
And like
It had like a
Budweiser
bunch of like
bikini
hot chicks on it.
bikini
Like,
1987 calendar of
yeah,
Budweiser.
fucking cherished it like it's like pride and joy.
It was
a ma-
amazing.
A mattress with just a pillow and a blanket. There's always, of
Yes.
course, like a crack in the wall, a punch, like what looks
A
like
punch mark, yeah.
a punch mark in the wall. Then there was also just like before, like out in this room, there's almost kind of like a little clearing area, and there was like it wasn't the grandma's room, but this little clearing area between these two rooms, and there was just a TV there on a cinder block with a PlayStation 1.
Going
One
high
of the
class.
new PlayStation 1s. You don't know how the fuck he got it, but it's one of those new slimpiest ones.
Like
Where'd
he had
that
a rich
come from?
uncle or something that just gave him a gift once a year.
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe
His
that.
birthday just happened.
And then he had like then I want to say there was another like grocery cart up there somehow. The grandma just never questioned it. And he's like the kid. He would like drink vinegar just for the sake of the proof he's tough. He would grab a bottle of vinegar and just chug it.
Didn't he also used to slide down like with a mattress?
Yeah. He'd grab a mattress and slide down, and like slam his face into these metal bars. Right at the bottom of the rail,
Awesome.
like ow! Like the grandma would be. Let's just say his name is Billy. Like Billy, I'm watching Days of Our Lives.
No reaction to how he is in
Just
physical
not even
condition.
look, just smoking a cigarette, you know.
See, like, I knew a lot of jerk-off Jimmys in my life, but what were you gonna say?
I was
Nora?
gonna say that's something else that I kind of miss about, like when we were kids. Because you boys were very entertaining in the 90s. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know any other way to say it.
We made fun out of anything.
Well, the
Yeah.
thing is like to prove your male dominance, to like prove you're a man, you do shit like staple your arm. I remember there was a big
See,
phase
I
where
never did
guys.
that, but I remember people doing that a lot.
Yeah, there's like
I
this
thought it
big
was
phase
retarded.
where like those guys,
that's
and
a pussy
everybody
when I was a
knows
kid.
what you mean by those guys, like
Yeah.
just those guys that have to assert their maleness, and it's like they would do shit like staple their arms, yeah, ride shit down the stairs in the middle of their house, do stupid things, and then it's like the kids nowadays, like, how do you prove you're tough? Well, we'll kick your ass on some fucking video game.
Those guys actually still existed back when we were in high school. I don't remember their names exactly, but there's maybe you.
Staples there didn't go out of style for a long time.
But no,
God.
there's. I'm not gonna say any names here, but there is that one girl, girl I'm talking about. She's really hot. She's a really nice girl,
I
and
have no idea what you're talking about.
You'll know by the time that I get to the end of the
Okay.
story.
I hope so.
And she'd be sitting there just reading a book, and there'll be guys almost like
Oh.
chimpanzees trying to get her attention. Be like wrestling in front of her,
Oh,
like climbing on trees and hanging upside down.
Well, to
Just-
me, like,
just
I
right with her sitting right there, like trying to catch her attention.
my favorite part of this, I used to call
Yes.
them the suitors because they really remind me of like the suitors, like in fucking like the story of Odysseus, and like she would just be there, just acting totally normal, and they'd be like chimpanzees literally swinging on trees, wrestling each other, but nobody was fucking talking to her.
No.
Like what they should have been doing.
No.
That's all it took.
It was just like this like male like some kind of like male bonding, some bromance going on really.
It's
like one of them
it's
got-
your macho-ness. That's
one of
all it
them-
was.
If one of them like had their ego hurt, like starts slamming his fist on the ground, like throwing leaves up and shit, running backwards.
Well, do you remember being like a real young kid and like almost like each person had like a fucking trait, like they were a character like in like Lord of the Rings or something almost?
Yeah,
like,
you kind of made your own like cartoon characters in your head out of all your friends. There was one
Yeah.
specific thing about each friend that stuck out. You're like, oh, he's this guy, and all the way up now, even to adulthood, it's like I see certain people that I grew up with, and I'm like, you're still that guy.
Well, I always want to tell my list because this is kind of how it was. Like I remember like in second grade, it was like my friend Kyle. He was kind of like the muscle of the group because he was fat Kyle this time, but he still
Yeah.
had all his muscle and strength, so he could.
He
pick
was
people up.
strong. He was just pudgy.
And then we had Josh, and he was like the fighter. Like he was the kid that would always punch another kid if anything happened. I remember one kid broke my Gambit toy. He punched him in the face.
Yeah.
So he was a fighter.
Reason enough.
I was sort of kind of like the brains of the operation.
Yes, I was gonna say the evil
That's what I did.
mastermind.
I wasn't really like the contact person, but I was the one that thought out all these decisions.
Or you're the con man.
Oh yeah, a lot of times I was a
Yeah.
pretty con man too back in the day too. I used to always try to trade and wield and deal. When
Listen,
I was in-
Shane, yeah.
When I was in preschool, I had these gold rocks that I got from like some St. Patty's Day thing that were painted gold, and I knew it. I used them to trade and barter with kids at fucking like literally preschool. I was trading and bartering fake gold stones with other kids for their shit, like their action figures and whatnot.
I imagine you being like the con man on the street corner of like a Humphrey Bogart like
No,
detective film.
I used to wear this hat. It was really like a Humphrey Bogart hat. Like,
Yeah.
It was like one of those, like I was in the Rat Pack or something. And I
Yeah.
was a fucking like 5-year-old kid.
Yes, I actually do remember this. I'm pretty sure I have photo evidence
If you had
of
that blue
this.
hat.
I didn't meet
Yes.
until high school, so this is all like news to me.
Oh yeah, no.
You
Well,
go
that's kind of why
upstairs,
it's
there's a
like,
picture of me with that hat on.
yeah, yeah. Well, see, because I was like that weird girl that was like I popped in every once in a while, just randomly. There's all of a sudden there's a girl hanging out.
I remember
I was
when we used
there.
to play Ninja Turtles back in the day. Like you were had played April O'Neil.
Yes,
That's
I wanted to be
sucks, man.
Michelangelo, but I was
That
always
sucks
April.
When a girl was playing with a bunch of guys, you'd always, if you're playing Super Mario Brothers, you were Princess Peach.
Hey,
If
hey,
you
now
were-
I love Princess Peach though.
Yeah, she's cool. But
I love
you'd
Princess
always
Peach.
want to be like, if you're playing like, let's say like a girl, not that I have anything think of a girl playing Street Fighter. Like, let's play Street Fighter. I don't need Blanca. No, you're Chun-Li. You know.
Well, see,
Yeah, well, because the thing, I always chose the chicks anyways, because I didn't know how to play. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was that person, and boys hated it, and I still do it to this day. It's those easy contact games where you just gotta walk up to the person and then freak out on the buttons, and your character starts doing shit and starts doing all this cool stuff, and all of a sudden I win. How I do it is beyond me, but I love doing it every time I'm dressed as a chick too, because then I'm like, "What now, bitches? You thought I couldn't even do it? And I kicked your ass with a girl."
Girl
Yes.
beat ya.
See, that's the thing about like, at least X-Men is like X-Men has a good, well-rounded group of characters, and all the female characters are pretty cool. So you got a lot of choices. That's kind of like the upside of playing that. But yeah, you know, you play Star Wars, just like the girl's Princess Leia. It's like a big Starler.
Yeah.
You know, there's just so many things kind of like that.
Star Wars is something that actually kind of saddens me about this generation because it's one of those things like I go back to my nephew. I mean, like I said, I'm not angry at the young generation because what else do they have? But it's more of one of the, like, what do they know? They know what they were raised with. It's like my nephew got into Star Wars through like the original trilogy, and then the prequels are coming out, so he saw those as they came along.
I thought he watched those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 6.
Well, he saw
6,
3.
yeah.
He saw 3 later.
I started counting. I decided I wasn't gonna stop.
Maybe they actually did see him in order. Actually,
that's what I thought you explained that to me.
No, he actually did see those movies in order. You're right. But then the Clone Wars came out, and then he just fucking loves that Clone Wars show. And at one point he asked me, like, Uncle Ryan, who's your favorite Star Wars character? I'm like, I don't know. I guess Chewbacca, maybe Darth Vader. He says, mine's Commander Rex. Who the fuck's Commander Rex?
Isn't it the thing with the...
No,
He's got like 8 arms or something.
No.
It's apparently a clone guy from the cartoon. It's just like, that's not a real character.
Oh, yeah. I have no clue who that is.
Yeah,
I was an Ewok and Yoda chick.
Ewok and Yoda?
I love the Ewoks. Are you kidding me?
They're
awesome. They're all cute. I love them.
I'll stop singing.
Yeah.
Well, I love them because it's like, you know, they're all cute and like teddy bears and you want to hug them, and then they go fucking kill your ass. Yeah, they go kick some fucking ass. I loved it. And then Yoda was just cute.
See, this is what reminds me of Star Wars. When we were kids, remember at Twinehart School, we used to have that wooden play set that was fucking dangerous as hell when you really think about it.
Hell yeah, I got scars from that thing.
It makes sense why it's not there anymore, but like...
Yeah, I'm sad that it's...
Every school used to have like a wooden play set, and it was physically made out of wood, had splinters in it because it's been in the sun for the last 15 years.
Nobody stained it or taken any care of it. There's
whatsoever.
holes where you could put things, but instead there's wasps' nests.
Yeah.
That's
every
how that went.
The janitor comes by once a year and gets rid of them, but that's about it. But I remember playing Star Wars up on there, and like you'd sneak lightsabers in, and like, you know.
Oh yeah, I was running on the bridge.
Yeah,
fighting on the bridge.
Like that was just the whole area. I remember we'd play Star Wars. I remember being like, you know, everybody chose a character. You know, everybody wanted to be like, you know, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo. But I like to be Boba Fett.
One of my
Why
elementary
not?
schools, we couldn't play Power Rangers because too many kids were getting kicked in the face, literally.
That makes sense because Power Rangers. Like, I remember a lot of kids couldn't watch Power Rangers.
There was like, there's a news story. Like, they would always make Power Rangers look to be a bad guy. Probably not like the fucking meth addicted parents. Like, some kids were like fighting out on some like train tracks, and one of them died from because they're trying to imitate something they saw in Power Rangers.
That's kind of funny, actually.
Now we have kids trying to imitate Grand Theft Auto. Awesome, we're doing great.
I don't think it's so much get kids imitating Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, no.
I just think it's just shitty parenting.
Yeah, because when it comes down, it's not the video games, it's the parents. It's perfect example.
Yeah.
This is the example I always use, and I will use this example to the end of time. Cisco, who's been on the show, he has like the nicest parents or whatever. Like, you know, like they always did good. You know, they taught him real well and all that kind of stuff. Nicest guy in the entire fucking world, but they always let him watch rated R movies and play like M-rated video games. And if that guy can grow up to be the nicest guy, come on.
Yeah,
that's a very good
That's
point.
perfect example. Like, that was the thing though. But his parents taught him right, and that's why he's not all messed up. It's the kids. Everybody I know who like their parents didn't let them watch rated R movies and didn't let them play like mature rated games or even teen rated games. Those kids, especially when they're like in fucking high school, like that's always a sad day. Those are the kids that always end up doing fucking messed up shit because they can't like let it out somewhere.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're told it's so bad that they want to do it so bad.
They literally go on like rampages where they destroy and do all kinds of things that they shouldn't be doing.
Pretty much. I just feel like there's just lazy parents nowadays. It's like I see kids and it's just like parents. It's just so easy to throw technology at your kid and it just distracts them. And parents are like, all right, that's good.
Well, one thing about now
like I'm good,
too,
and I'm like, really? Like,
this like always blows my fucking mind. Is like, you know, if you get like the Netflix streaming, which one thing is like I feel like they get you with that because they want you to get the DVDs because they put the real good shit on there. But the thing is like when we were kids, like anime was so fucking hard to find that you.
Yes.
I would watch anything that came on TV. It didn't matter what it was because every once in a while on like the Action Channel they'd play like an anime like midnight, and like it was just not common. I mean, there was a couple shows. You maybe got Speed Racer, you got Sailor Moon,
Yeah.
and then you got something like Voltron, and that
Dragon
was
Ball
about
Z.
it. Well, that came a little bit later though.
Yeah.
Then you got Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon and stuff. So like there wasn't like so much stuff. So we'd watch anything. But nowadays, I mean, try that fucking Netflix thing on, and I'm looking and just like, I mean, like you could be watching. You kids should be fucking grateful. We had to spend like $50 to $100 to get a fucking like season set of like 26 episodes, and we'd watch that like nobody's business because that's all we had. We cherished it like a fucking idol.
No, so many of those dubbing companies went out of business as soon as things went more digital. Like ADV, they would charge. Because I remember I buy a lot of the. I bought Outlaw Star. I remember, and I had to be very picky choosy. I saw most of the show on Toonami, and then when they released the DVDs for it, it's like they released it in like 3 sets, and it would be like 10 episodes in one set, and the one DVD was like $50. One
Holy
DVD for
crap.
this show. So it's like you had to be very picky choosy. You had to be very fucking grateful for it too.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times, I mean, that's not even like a standard anime DVD would be $30. The only place you could really ever get it was like Suncoast or Sam Goody.
Yeah,
where
like
it's
that was like
always
an
pricey.
80-minute movie, no special features, no bells
No,
and whistles.
yeah, no, like maybe like a trailer to like other animes coming out or whatever. And it was always just like, oh, here's 3 episodes, sometimes 2 episodes.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get a whole lot of your bang for your buck, but it's like, where else you gonna fucking get it, kids? Fuck you, we got you by the balls. And then some the internet comes out. Most of these dubbing companies went out of business.
Like instantly, yeah.
Entertainment for Kids, I'm not sure if it was just because they just kept on fucking with the source material, but they're gone.
They're not
ADV,
anymore? Then who does Sonic X now?
I think Sonic X ended.
Oh, they already did. That was their last project.
I have no idea. I don't really watch Sonic X. I saw like a few miscellaneous episodes, but
I have no idea what any of this is.
Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon.
Well, I know it's Sonic. I figured that much, but as far as all the
They're-
anime stuff, that's
They came out with a lot of dubbing
Yeah.
companies, and they would dub them. And Entertainment for Kids was one where they would often they would take something that wasn't really, some of it was kid stuff, but they would really bastardize it and like try and like.
They would kid it up more than need be.
There was one, I never saw
okay.
the anime it's myself, but there's one called One Piece. The characters would smoke cigarettes and fire guns, but what they did is they made them lollipops and they made them squirt guns. So when they would get shot, instead of blood, it was water.
Which is pretty fucking retarded. Like,
yeah, that's
it's
really
like,
lame.
Like we can handle shit. I mean, like
Yeah.
everybody as a kid has seen some form of guns and stuff. I mean, come on.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite things I got asked in college once by a teacher. It was an early childhood education class, and she asked the class, who thinks they're desensitized to violence? I was quite literally the only person who raised my hand in a class of 30 people.
Really?
I wasn't sure if it's because most of them didn't understand what that meant, or if they all really thought that they weren't. And then she was like, really? Nobody thinks that? And then I actually had to explain to the class, like, what she's asking is, are you ever honestly shocked when you see on television somebody got shot at some point or some horrific car accident and they show it? Is anybody honestly shocked by that anymore? And then more people were like, oh, okay. And then they were like getting it. Because at first, everyone was looking at me like I was a crazy person. They're like, how are you desensitized to violence? I'm like, well, one, it's in everything.
Like,
And I grew up in a family of hunters. Like,
I took some puppies on the way over. Come on. I mean,
right?
it's
Like,
just,
I'm just kind of like, what the heck? And I think one of my favorite things was there's this girl. I'll call her Barbie for this instance because it suits her. She just wore nothing but pink, had all the name brands, Chanel and pink, and Uggs that were pink, and everything that was freaking pink.
Gucci.
Oh yes, had it all. Just so adorable, so pink. And I would call her Barbie, and she raised her hand. She's like, well, I remember, back in like the 60s and stuff like that, it's like times are just so much easier. And I feel like, I don't know. And I'm like,
It's much easier now.
yeah. And I'm like, obviously, like, I don't know what vision of the 60s she really had in her head. Cause I'm like, sweetie, you as a female in the 60s didn't have a whole lot going for you for the simple fact that you were female. Like, you might want to choose a different era. Like, things I would guess would say got, a little bit better towards the 80s, but we started getting more desensitized to violence.
Yeah.
That's all it was. And she's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, of course you don't. Like, I couldn't believe it.
Sheltered as fuck.
Oh, amazingly. Just sheltered as fuck by lots and lots of money.
It really happens nowadays too.
It makes me
'Cause
sad.
parents think that like by sheltering, that's like the worst thing you can do is shelter somebody.
Yeah.
Sheltering it creates a horrible person, pretty much.
honestly, it's honesty. It's really what it comes down
Yeah,
to. Be honest with your
honest,
kids.
Don't fucking lie, and just
Yeah.
tell them how it is.
If your kid has a question, answer it. Don't throw some BS answer at them or pretend like you never
beat around
did
the
something.
bush,
Yeah, or
yeah.
beat around the bush, pretend like you never did something. It's like when I have kids and they come to me and ask me questions like, oh, ask anything. Like, oh, mom, have you ever smoked pot? Or, oh, have you ever done... It's like, yes, I have.
Mhm.
I'm not going to fucking lie to you about it. My parents didn't lie to me about shit.
No,
Like,
yeah,
they were
tell you
straight and
flat
honest
up.
with me. Yeah, and in the other things, it's like, don't smother your kids with religion. I'm
You're
sorry.
gonna rebel. Well, I think if religions want to help their cause, I'm not trying to be a dick when I say this. If religions want to help their cause, don't have religious schools.
Yeah.
Because
No.
everybody I know who goes into a religious school does not come out religious.
No.
Nope, that's the thing though. Religion's got to be like almost like the way that the Jewish do it, where it's just like, well, it's one's like, if you want to come in, you gotta really want to come in. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Otherwise,
none of this
yeah.
bullshit like you're gonna show up, once, every couple months because you felt like you did something bad. You either come all the way in or you stay all the way the fuck out.
Yeah.
And that's the thing though. It's just like, and that thing is like those parents that like force Christian on them, where they're just like they're literally over the kid's head, just like punching a Bible into their face.
Well, and it's stupid
Jesus loves you.
Oh God. Well, it's stupid because then it's like you get either those kids that are so blinded by it that the real world doesn't make sense to them, and then you get the kids who discover the real world and take it and fucking sprint, and yeah, end up going like, sometimes you get the girls that go way down the I'm gonna be a porn star now that I've discovered reality and sex, and down to oh, I'm gonna go try every fucking drug in the world because I smoked pot one time and it was amazing, and my parents said it was a no-no, and it's like. I understand wanting religious values. Like, I understand where people come from, especially because there's a lot of friends in my generation who are talking about it now. It's like they want to raise their kids with Christian values, but stop at a point. And it's like, at about the age of like,
pressuring, really.
yeah, and it's like, I feel like 13. Just, by the time the kid's 13, they're really going to decide, I'm going to follow this religion wholeheartedly or I'm not. And it's like, by the time they're 13, that's when you can just go, make your decision. If you want to stick with this and you want to follow this wholeheartedly, go for it. If you want to go discover life and do what you want to do, go for it. I'm here to answer your questions in any which direction.
This isn't so much of a children and religion. I guess it's kind of like someone growing up with religion in a sense. But like my last roommate was actually a bit older than me. She was actually in her 40s. And no, it wasn't a. Are you seducing Mrs. Robinson? It wasn't that. It wasn't that. Let me clarify.
Darn it.
No, it wasn't that. But
that would have been exciting. Ryan, you would have had an exciting story.
Do I look like a good looking do I actually feel what's that actor's fucking name?
No.
Not Rain Man, but I got actor
Dustin Hoffman.
Do I look good?
My God, Dustin Hoffman in The Graduate.
Am I on the same level?
I'm
as a young
sad that
Dustin
this
Hoffman?
took you that long to get to him.
Dustin Hoffman?
Yes, I'm like sitting over here stunned that you didn't just know it's Dustin Hoffman.
I know
it's
it's
Dustin Hoffman in Midnight Cowboy.
I knew it was Dustin Hoffman. I just drew a blank on his name. It's like the microphone's on, peer pressure. Anyway,
in The Graduate.
Graduate, yes. But anyway, no, I did not have one of those "Are you just seducing me, Mrs. Robinson" moments. Anyway, but I remember Spencer and I, we went to go see Wednesday 13. For those of you who have never heard Wednesday 13, it's generally think Motley Crue mixed with Marilyn Manson.
Or Rob Zombie's the way I kind of describe it.
There you go.
Okay.
Because it's got more of like that like horror movie element. Because Marilyn Manson doesn't really have the horror movie stuff in it.
No,
he has the weird gothic look to him.
Yeah.
He looks more like Marilyn Manson, but Rob Zombie has more. You're right.
Yeah, he sounds more like a mix between Rob Zombie and like Motley Crue, and he's all around badass.
He's all about.
That actually does sound interesting. I'm a big zombie fan.
Have you ever heard the band Murder Dolls?
No.
Okay, because that's like the most famous thing he did. Because like Joey Jordison plays guitar with him on that one.
Oh.
And that's about the most famous thing he does. Because other than that, though, like nobody really knows who they are except for his extreme fans.
You too.
But we are. Spencer,
you too.
We drove 2 hours to Fresno to go see this in like a small, tiny club with about like 50 other people.
Oh, color me shocked right now. Like that does not surprise me a little bit.
So anyway, we went to go see him, and we actually got to meet him. Got to shake his hand. He was really nice.
Got photos with him. They didn't make ourselves seem like an ass. Like
yeah.
Sometimes what happens.
Yeah. Unlike most celebrities, you make an ass of yourself by accident.
By accidentally insulting them somehow.
But anyway, so we meet Wednesday 13. He's really nice, and we're leaving. And then next day, I get home, and I bump my roommate. She says, I didn't see you at all yesterday. Where were you? Like, me and Spencer went over to Fresno to see this band we like. She's like, oh, did you have a good time? Yeah, we got to meet him. Do you have a picture? I'm like, yeah. She's super, super Catholic. So I pulled this picture of me, like, like what he's doing in the picture is I have my arm around him, pointing at him like this guy, kind of like a douche. But
Yeah.
I had this look on my face. I had to like match his insanity. So I'm like, okay. So I give him that look, and he's doing like he's flipping off the camera with one finger, and then with the other finger he's making an upside down cross with the middle finger.
Nice. Healthy.
So yeah. So
She was excited.
I was like, okay. So he's making the Antichrist sign with double middle fingers. Okay, whatever. So she's like, oh, that's nice. And top of this guy who's wearing like a cowboy hat with all these like fucking satanic like he has like a bunch of like horror movie monsters like on his arm in front of a tattoo and just all like gothed up.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, oh, that's nice. I'm like, yeah, it was a pretty good show. He's a nice guy and all that. He just it's kind of an act. So I go down there. If Wednesday 1300, it's like, it is not a fucking act.
But you gotta make these things up to like when you talk to people like this.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
go down. I'm working on my comic, just drawing. And there's this knock at my door. I'm like, yeah. She's like, Ryan. I'm like, yeah. Have you ever been to church? I'm like, fuck.
Damn it.
And I'm like, I've been in a church, as in weddings and funerals.
The only time we go to church.
Have I attended a church service?
And then she says,
I
like,
have.
well, have you ever considered about going to church? I'm like, no, there's a church right out my window. There's like right from my window in downtown Sonora, I could see a white church with a big ass cross. I'm like, because there's that church right there. It never gets too hard. Just look out there. And I'm just kind of like,
Shut
okay,
up, please.
So I'm like, all right, just let me clarify for a second. It's not like we were killing baby rabbits and snorting lines of coke off urinals. It was just a rock show, and
It was
it's
just
just
a
an
concert.
I know, I get you. You had your fun for the day, but there's always tomorrow. It's like, okay, I'll keep that in mind. I'll pray for you. It's like, oh,
I hate that.
you'll pray for me. How
Oh
nice.
God, I'm not gonna lie. I really get annoyed when people say that to me. I'll pray for you. Oh, thanks. Thanks. That totally affects my life. I can feel it. What the fuck?
Oh boy. But I don't know. Everybody I've ever known that was like had Christian force upon them, they end up doing bad things. Let's just say that. No matter what, even if they clean themselves up later on, it's just like something bad's gonna happen from it. It's not gonna be perfect.
No, well, yeah.
So sad, so sad.
And you grew up in a family of realists. It's like, go figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
So then you end up
Shit
going
happens.
Yeah, go figure it
Go
out
to
for
the
yourself.
church if shit happens.
So,
Yeah.
if kids just had fucking yak backs and just played themselves.
I just so fucking forgot about that till you mentioned that.
I got my yak back sitting
yak
fucking
back.
over
Oh,
there.
good
Yeah.
God.
Let's explain
The
what
batteries from fucking
Holy
1996 still fucking
shit.
working it.
Let's explain to the audience what the yak back is. You go ahead and do it. You have one.
You like to define it, so I'll let you do it because you like to tell this story.
No, I like to tell the Home Alone story. You got the
Okay, you tell the Home Alone story. Well, what a yak back was it was a personal recorder that recorded 5 seconds of audio, and then you could hit play and play it back. No, that didn't save anything else but one file of like 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds at max.
I think I had a purple one.
Yeah, I have a blue one, and mine was a special edition. Mine's the one that came out the second one it came out, and it's got a fast forward and slow down on it. So you can talk in it and then speed up your voice.
So you sound like a chipmunk.
Yeah, or then slow down so you sound like Satan.
Yes. Oh my God, I totally forgot about those things.
back in the day, that is something that would just blow. Like, he's like, oh, this is cool, that's fun. You try to explain it to a kid now, they'd be like, are you fucking retarded?
Yeah,
You do
that's
that-
stupid. I have an app that turns my voice into blah 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 blah. And you're like,
can record up to 5 hours.
Yeah, and you're like, well,
seconds.
fuck off. This was amazing when I was a kid. All right.
I got an app that turns my face into a zombie. So fucking what, you know?
Yeah, like, ugh.
Now there's the other one. There's like the earlier version, the less compact version of the Yak Back, which it wasn't called the Yak Back, it was something else. I remember they used it in Home Alone 1 or 2, and they advertised it in the movie, and had
I
a
remember this
commercial to
one.
go along with it.
Oh,
And it was
yeah.
like it looked like a camcorder, but all it was just this big silver recording device, and you could make it play forward or there's a parts in the movie when someone would call and he would like say something, and then he'd like dark deepen the tone so it sounded like someone was talking to an adult on the phone.
Yeah.
And like I remember the commercial, it was just like such a weird commercial. Like you see like this big brother and this girl on a bed, just like, you know, like they're about to fuck or something. The
All kinds of
mischievous
80s awkward.
the mischievous little brother comes peeking around the corner, pulls out like a little like big silver yak back, says, "Hey kids, we're home early." Plays it. He plays it like the adult's like, "Hey kids, we're home," but it says it in the creepiest way. That's like, "Hey kids, we're home early.
Yeah,
So the
like
kid's like, what the fuck is that?
Well, you know,
doesn't actually sound anything like a parent would.
Like the rapist parent.
Right.
What was that?
Someone
So
broke in the house, Mom.
Is it the bathroom rapist?
It's the bathroom.
My
Right?
father told me stories about him. I didn't think it was actually true.
Oh God.
The bathroom rapist.
He only attacks in bathrooms. So that's the problem. It's like you never know what bathroom it's gonna be.
Oh,
Well, it's
God.
like he has this ability of teleportation, but it's only through. He can only go through like the tubings of bathrooms and
Yeah.
toilets.
Yeah, it's
Not
kind of
just sinks,
like,
toilets.
when snakes come
Ah.
up through toilets.
Yeah.
Oh,
So at any point, anytime, the bathroom rapist could be waiting for you. Look out.
And you don't know which bathroom it is.
Yeah.
oh my God.
Could be public. Could be your own.
But yak backs.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Well, I
remember
mean, when
those
we
things.
were kids, we fucking used to record like gun sounds on them, and you'd use it as a gun. Like that's how that toy was used
Yeah.
very effectively.
Now kids say, I got an app for that.
You know, like
I
mine
hung
makes
it-
real machine gun sounds, and I shake it like in a jerk off motion, and it sounds like a machine gun firing off.
Kids be like, we don't even use lightsabers anymore. We have lightsaber apps.
They like make a
Yeah.
zappy zap sound.
Yeah. See, what? God, I can't stand it.
We used to have plastic lightsabers that were never nearly like the thing is like the handle. Was,
You
like,
made
right
the
length,
sound. You hit and you went.
and then you realize they broke really fast too.
They now
Yeah.
they now have the high end like $30 one where they shoot out and they make the and like,
Yeah, and when you actually tap them, they do make the sounds.
But once
I've
again,
seen those.
Cisco had this Luke Skywalker lightsaber one that was like the fucking like $35 one back. And back then, $35 would be like a $95 one nowadays.
Yeah.
And like this thing, like you throw it out, it was fucking just as long as like in the movie it was. It wasn't like the half-ass shortened version. It had like all
The
the
kid
sound
version.
effects. Like so when you hit together, it made sound. It was like the most badass thing ever.
I had
Most
the
amazing
ghetto one
thing.
that was more or less a flashlight with a plastic tube at the end.
Yeah, I had one of
Yes.
those ones too.
It was Star Wars brand, but it was just the cheap one. It wasn't even like blue, red, or green. It was just white.
Yeah, just a light.
Now,
Yeah.
when you
A
guys were
light
kids,
stick.
like this, like that lightsaber reminds me because I remember it was used in a bartering thing. Did you ever do bartering with like your friends? Like you would trade shit back and forth.
Oh hell yeah.
Like you would say, like, I'll trade you this lightsaber, these 5 Star Wars action figures, and this stack of Pogs for your Super Nintendo game or something like that.
Nothing like that. It would be more like, you want to go first, Nora? Actually.
Oh, I was gonna say, well, for girls, it was like you would trade clothes. I'm not gonna lie, you traded a lot of clothes. You traded a lot of. Well, I wasn't really a fan of Barbie. My Barbies became parachuters off the deck most of the time.
Into a barbecue.
Well, no, my
Or that
dad's
kid from,
fire
like, Toy
pit.
Story.
No, we weren't that bad, but yeah, no, we would do that. Like I remember bartering for things back and forth. Like you would see something that your friends had, and you're like, hey.
You're like, I got some things here.
Yeah, and you worked out a trade. It's the trade system.
Well, we
Why
got-
do we have no more decent trade systems? Honest trade systems.
Well, when we were kids, like we trade a fucking lot.
Yeah.
Before you went to your buddy's
traded
house,
your
you would load up
lunch.
shit that you didn't
Yeah.
want in your house anymore, and you would go over there and try to trade it off to your buddy. We did it all the time too. Like trading was a thing, and then like you would try to get the people that were like, you get other kids involved, and you would like fucking like cheap shot them. You would
Black
lowball these
market
motherfuckers.
status.
Yeah. You would pull up fucking lies, and you would talk this shit off like a salesman at like a car lot on how to get you what you want.
Well, yeah, it's just to get your stuff away, to get shiny new stuff without spending money.
Yeah, well, it's like the way it's like, you would trade like this and that for this. And sometimes you do the thing too where you fucking like pressure him, like, come on, dude, you want to do this trade? Come on, man. And you come back to him later on, like, dude, trade.
Trade.
You know you fucking want it.
I remember
It's
trading.
fucking Pokemon's a trading card game. Like, seriously, dude. You gotta give me that fucking Shadows of the Empire for 64.
Oh, good God.
Oh, dude, you were such the fucking con man. My
I traded a
trading.
PlayStation 2 demo disc once to somebody who had a PlayStation 1. I told him it would work in PlayStation 1. It was made to sell the PlayStation 2.
You cheap bastard.
Wow.
I think I know who you're talking about too. But no,
Wow.
no, I remember trading. I would trade a lot of Pokemon cards. I remember I collected a lot of Gundam Wing models, and I would trade those. It was never anything. I trade you these action figures and this for like a video game. It was always something in the same realm, like one Gundam model for another Gundam model, or Pokemon cards. Something always around those lines,
I traded food. I traded a lot
and
of
like
food.
Lunchables and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
yeah, there's
I feel
always
like
that.
lunchtime. It's like your parents always put in all this effort to pack you lunch, and then at lunchtime you never really end up what you took, like eating what you actually took. It's like everyone just puts their stuff out on the table, and you kind of look around and you go, "Hey, I'll swap you this for that." It's like, oh, pudding pack for sandwich. And it's like, oh, someone forgot something, so you're like, oh, well, I already had something else to drink over here. Here, you can have my Capri Sun. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
It was like we kind of looked out for each other. You're like, oh wait, you don't have something to eat here. I really don't like these carrots that my mom gave me. You'd kind of give away your healthy snack to the poor unfortunate soul that didn't have it at lunch.
You know, I got a Capri Sun in my freezer from 1994.
That's
Frozen since
amazing.
then.
I had my first Capri Sun
Still
this
in there?
year.
Still fucking in there. It was
That's
a holographic
amazing.
one. I put it in there at one point. Totally fucking forgot about it.
Did you find it like a week ago?
No, I found it like about a year ago. I was
Nice.
Like,
Is
it's
it
been here.
still
It's
in
been here for
there?
so long. I'm just gonna leave it here.
Right?
When we're all dead and gone, it will still be there.
Yeah.
Like other life forms, thousands of years from now, we'll find that. Like,
What
It's
is
got like
this?
it's got like a dude skiing down a fucking mountain. It's holographic.
it always
Nice.
was kind of like 90s, like extreme sports, bro. That's what they always kind of were.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
like, it was just like it was the time of like when Mountain Dew like flowed from like rivers.
Yes. When Mountain, yeah, I remember
Yeah.
those commercials. You'd
Yeah.
see guys, yeah, surfing on their Mountain Dew, like they crack a Mountain Dew, and all of a sudden they're on a giant green wave, and you're like,
Yo,
whoa.
bro, coming to Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Oh,
Trending
jeez.
It's
So-
brotastic.
God.
That's kind of what it is.
And it was always in such fun colors too.
Which I don't understand why they made like I mean I barely drink Mountain Dew. I actually had a little bit of a relapse because Batman's my idol, so
That's not obvious.
it's that obvious, yeah. And I went out. They actually came out with I don't remember what it's actually called. I call it Batberry. Or
Oh,
Bat Dew.
okay.
I call it
Bat
Bat Dew because they came out with some Dark Knight. I gotta if it's got like just a fraction of what makes Batman Batman, I gotta try it. So that's what I did. So and it was actually good. I'll say it was good. I'm not gonna have it too much because I can just kind of
See
I
my
can-
years disappearing.
yeah, I could feel my intestines being eaten away from the high fructose corn syrup, but
I've always kind of had a problem with drinking something that looks like antifreeze. That was my
Yeah.
problem with it when I was a child. My brother loved it, and he'd pour it out in glasses, and I'm like, dude, that looks like antifreeze.
well, here's my thing.
Or Tyrannosaurus Rex piss.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. Batman was on it. So
Yeah.
give
And
me that
and it
Batman.
wasn't like that yellow color.
It was like a dark purple.
Ah,
They made this
They
Mountain
should
Dew.
have called it like Venom, kind of like what Bane
Yeah,
injects
injects
himself
his-
with in the comic. Yeah.
They
Alright,
made
we're not
this
gonna go on a Batman
one
tangent.
Mountain Dew
Yeah.
that like literally was out for like a fucking week, and that was it. It was called Pitch Black 2, not Pitch Black 1. Pitch Black 2 was a sour drink. I remember I had one of those once. I thought that was a pretty sweet drink, but it was it. His run was gone.
just one shot
As
and it
far
was
as it
it.
goes. Nothing
Oh.
more,
So-
nothing less.
Something I want to say about this show, we like a lot of times they kind of work on the heavy stuff and they work on the light stuff and they work their way in the heavy stuff. I like how we just get the heavy shit out of the way. They just jump straight into the fun stuff. Now we got all that sad stuff that reminds us the world's gonna end. Now the fun shit. What pisses
Yes.
you off about kids? You know?
Yeah, it's like kind of like the main topic, I guess. And like the kids are just there's just so much stuff to talk about because
Yeah.
I
It's
feel like
just-
there's because like to me there's personally a big fucking generation gap between kids now and from me.
Horribly.
I find that the
Probably.
kids like they're like 5 years younger than me because there's literally this point that like breaks off, and I think it's only like about a 3-4 year gap
Yeah.
where I feel way different because I feel more attached to like people who grew up in like the 90s, like even older people, like teenagers from the 90s,
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
I do with like teenagers like 4 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Because those 4 years younger than me, it's like they're almost like in a fucking different world, you know? Their lives revolve off the fucking computer, the internet, Facebook, all these things like what keeps them in control. And to me, it's like that stuff exists, but
Well,
that
it's
doesn't
like-
fucking patrol my life. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
like you explained it perfectly. Our generation is literally right on the cusp of technology taking over. Like, I guarantee you, we were the last people that had to deal with, hey, get off the internet. I need to make a phone call.
Yeah.
It's like
literally.
you do not hear that anymore. And it's like, I remember the days, getting
I
on.
still hear that because I have dial-up.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Like, you actually still have it. It still does exist, people. Dial-up still exists. But I remember it's like, you'd go to get on the internet and make sure no one was on the phone, make sure no one had any important phone calls they had
Yeah.
to make, and then you click that to link on, and then you could go make yourself dinner. By the time you come back from making your mac and cheese, your internet is loaded.
I remember because I don't have dial-up where I don't have Wi-Fi where I live. So I remember one time when I was in downtown Sonora, I would often have to go to like just some coffee shop, and this actually gives me an excuse. It was like one of the few times we had a big snowstorm in downtown Sonora, and it was actually snowing in downtown Sonora. So it gives me the right to say, back in my day, I had to walk through the snow if I wanted Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how the internet is. Well, we kind of grew up at the time where like technology really fucking evolved, and really in a quick stage in a sense. I mean, like the internet's been around since the '60s.
Yeah.
Longer, but in the personal view, it came out like in I think 1992
Yeah, and it it really did. It started
for
getting
like home use, really.
yeah.
you
And it
know?
did. It got really all of it got so big in the middle of our generation. And I
And
feel
so-
like we kind of were just like almost a little stunned by it. That some of us are
Yeah.
still kind of like,
Well, some of us
ah.
think it was like we didn't grow up at a time where like our lives revolved off the internet. Like the internet
Yeah.
was there,
Yeah, it was there,
and
but
it
it
was
was
just like anything else in the house. It was something you could go over and maybe mess with. They existed at school.
yeah. I was gonna say you ended up usually using it as solely like a research thing. Like you got on the internet and like you looked up stuff for school and that was about it. And yeah, maybe your parents let you have like an email address or something and you went and checked your email to see if any of your friends emailed you.
Yeah,
And
but
that was it. But it was like you weren't, you weren't on there all fucking day long. Like
Yeah.
you
So
didn't
these
have the
kids, like-
social networking. Like your social networking
mean-
was your email.
I mean, I have a Facebook and all that, and I check it out, but I mean, it's not something that rules my life exactly.
No,
you
yeah,
know?
it's like I'll check my Facebook every once in a while, but if you really go and look at how often I post to that thing, well, that's like maybe once or twice a year.
I'll be honest. The main reason I have Facebook, I post shit on Facebook and I comment things on Facebook. But I generally, in all honesty, the main reason I have Facebook to whore out my shit, to whore out the comic book and to whore out Old Man Orange stuff. So
yeah. Well, funny is because like two older people is what convinced me to get Facebook. It wasn't anybody young. It was when like 50-year-old people like put you on the edge and say like, "Yo, you got to get one because you're gonna meet people in your fucking life that you're
yo,
gonna need to be
I'm
a sta-
50.
Yo,
Yo.
I'm 50.
Yo, I'm 50. I know it. Oh,
Like
God.
that literally, a guy told me that. He was like, he sat me down, just like, I'm not gonna sit me down, but he said it like that. He's like, you're gonna meet people in your life, that you're gonna connect with. They're gonna be very good connections, and that's the one way it's always you're gonna have a connection right there because numbers change, things like that go away, but at least you're there, you can always figure out where the hell they are.
Yeah, I
And if
guess.
you got, so it's like that made sense. To this day and age, it's like really when it gets down to Facebook, I feel like there's really about 5 people on there that probably really matter. And I don't mean that like in a bad way, but I mean like 5 people that really do difference. Like everybody else, like was like I could just call them. I know where they fucking live.
Yeah.
I mean? There's like 5 people on there that's almost like that's like the dividing point. Like, well, I can't delete the account for that exact reason.
Well, that's kind of why it's like I've done a revamping on my Facebook, and I highly doubt any people have actually. Because the other thing, it was starting to drive me nuts, is all these people were getting rid of people on Facebook and they're deleting them, but they're posting about it. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna delete friends," and you're like,
nobody wants. Don't do that.
"Yeah, don't fucking post about it." So I just went in and started deleting
I'm
people.
afraid to delete somebody. I
guess-
feel like they're gonna get pissed off or something.
Well, see, yeah, and that's why it's like I'll just go in and delete people because the chances of people actually noticing that I deleted them are very slim to none. And it was people that it was quite literally I'd see their posts and it would just annoy me. And I'm like, I don't honestly give a shit about what the hell you're doing and how drunk you're getting or what the fuck you're doing with your life. I really don't care. I'm glad to see you're alive, and that's about it. Beyond that, I really don't give a shit. So I just started been deleting people, and there are people that on Facebook I'm glad I have it. Like my friends who are in the military and stuff like that. It's like for those kind of purposes, I like it. But to talk to the person who's living 4 doors down from you, that's fucking stupid.
And the whole thing like share and like if you like muffins.
Yeah.
If you don't like this picture of a baby with a tumor, it means you want this baby to die. And it means you like to go out and burn crosses on the weekends.
See,
I'm getting really annoyed with that shit. I'm
See,
really
I
annoyed
am
with
glad
that.
I don't go on there for that bullcrap.
Well, it's like, oh, you see, you post like, some sad, poor, pathetic baby, giant tumor or something like that, and they're like, if you skip past this, you're a horrible human being. It's like, no, I'm not. It just means that I don't feel the need to have to click like on Facebook for you to think that I am a good person.
Yeah.
Well,
Is really what it comes down to.
Well, because you hear some people, it's like they just narrow it down. It's like I only have 50 friends, and that's it. No more than 50 friends. It's only people I literally full on talk to. And I always kind of look at that. I'm like, that's actually kind of like a really good way to go about it. Almost, if you're not trying to whore your shit out to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Like that really is the way to do it, though. It's just really pick. Like, I mean, I'm not talking about like not like the people you're acquaintances with. Yeah, your acquaintances with so many people, but like they're really the people that talk to. You know what I mean? Not the people that you say hi and bye like when you walk by in the store. Some of the people you actually maybe do physical things with. You actually go somewhere. You
have
actually
real
hang out,
conversations.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, and for me, it's like those people I don't find on Facebook. Those are the people that I talk to in reality.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, for me, Facebook is one of those things. It's great for those friends that aren't immediately near me that I can do that with. But when I see, like, my roommate does it very frequently, and granted, she's kind of a youngin', but she does it very frequently. She's friends on her Facebook with, like, a bunch of people that she went to high school with.
When I say 600 people on Facebook, how the fuck do you know that many people?
Right?
Like
Well,
I
it's...
have on mine. It's like I don't
have
know. I don't know who the fuck half these people are.
I only have like 160 something.
Yeah, it's like I look at mine. I'm like I flip through it. I'm like I don't know. I don't
Is
know
that
who these
bad?
people are.
No, I have, like, 200 and something. 250, I
No.
think. But, it's mine are all from, like, here in the Bay and all over the damn place. I have a few from other countries, too.
Oh, there you go.
So, but like she gets on Facebook and she's friends with so many people that she went to high school with, And all she does is complain about shit that they post and like talk about
They
how
don't go
stupid
on
they
there,
are and
yeah.
stuff like that. I'm like, they fucking delete them.
See, because that's the thing.
Because that's the point I
We
hit.
live
Like,
in this age where people they're bitching about this shit, but then you're like, you're fucking going on there.
yeah,
Though.
you're the one that's looking at it. You're the
You
one that
can't-
accepted the friend request.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like you shouldn't be bitching about this stuff if you're going on there. Whenever it gets down to
I
it.
guess I'm bitching
Yeah.
a little bit about when just people always feel the need to post political shit or like religious shit, whatever, regardless of what side of the fence you're on.
Mhm.
yeah.
And I guess you always have the option not to go on there, which that's true.
Like me,
Yeah.
I just
I
go
may
on there.
post something on my own thing, but then I just kind of go off it. Like I only look at the notifications.
Yeah, well, that's why it's like
I
usually
the
when
only thing
I
look
see
at is the
that,
notifications.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't
about
really
anything.
go
Yeah.
looking for that shit. It's more like
when I
check
happen to see it, I kind of just scroll past it really
Maybe
quick. I'm
close
like,
fri-
whatever.
maybe close friends that maybe close friends who aren't so close, live far away. I might like check on see how they're doing.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like,
Generally.
a lot of times I'll see something like, oh, this person I know did this, or that person I know. It's like, oh yeah, I like that picture. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, certain, like, I
okay, he's
do,
in India right now. That's cool.
yeah, like, I do like things like that and, like, seeing the random pictures and stuff. But, yeah, I don't know, I wish Facebook wouldn't do things like, yeah, let overbearing religious posts be posted, just, like, overbearing political ones in either direction. Like,
yeah.
I feel like sports ones, that's one thing. I mean, who really,
That's
that's
fun
whatever.
more.
Like, yeah, who
Well,
cares? Those are
really-
fun.
I see
But when
just-
it's,
the
when
only-
it's,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I don't, it's when it's like the shit that's, yeah, shoving Jesus down your throat or making Jesus look like he's a total fucking asshole or shoving, the Republicans down your throat or the Democrats, what have you be. It's like, I feel like I don't like seeing that shit all the fucking time. And I'm like, keep your opinion to yourself. If you're going to post it publicly, then if you're going to do that, don't get offended if somebody posts the complete opposite about it. Don't whine about it, because if you felt that you could express this openly in the public, then somebody else is going to express the exact opposite.
Someone posted something funny a little while ago, like said, "Holy fuck, check this out! A post that doesn't involve religion or politics."
Yeah, and
That's a
yeah,
little spiteful, but I thought that was actually a good point.
yeah, because it gets frustrating to see all that kind of stuff, like over and over again, just overbearing amounts. And a lot of times too, it's like the people who post it, especially the political ones, those ones really drive me nuts. Because it's like the people who post that, it's like, do you really understand what's going on in politics? Do you really understand what your post is saying? 9 times out of 10, no, they don't. They're just doing what the cool thing is. Just like in our county is dominated by Republicans. So everybody's just boo Obama, yay, yay Romney. But it's like, honestly, we're fighting of who's the lesser evil at this point again.
Yeah, well, that's
And-
kind of what it is once too.
Yeah, it's like, really, there really is no good guy, bad guy in this situation. You're really just it's gonna have to come down to who's the lesser evil at
Or
this
you choose your
point.
third party and just let
Yeah,
them
or
vote.
Yeah.
or we
Right.
could all do the coolest thing, blow everybody out of the water,
Yeah.
and bring up a total Cinderella story to win it all. I'm
Exactly.
down for that.
Green Party. Yeah.
Yeah, just
like
some
Green
fucking
Party, yeah.
random Joe Blow that was like, I'm
Joe
on
Blow.
here. Yeah, just to fill in a slot. Like, well, I guess the Tea Party wanted me to do this, or yeah, I guess
Joe
the Green
plumber
Party.
became Joe Blow, the next president.
Yeah, like I'm ready for. Well, it was just I'm ready
4
for
years
it.
back, bitches.
Yeah.
I'm ready for someone just way out of the blue to come in and take over. Because really, how much worse can they make it?
I ain't gonna try and go into a whole political thing here. I'll say I like Obama. I don't think he's the great savior. A lot of people say he is, but at the same time, I don't. I mean, I'm not gonna go into a thing. I'm not. I like him. I'm not in love with him. I don't feel like I can completely lay all my trust into any politician when it gets right
Yeah.
down to it. But this is actually a part of the show. It is kind of going on a little longer than usual, so that's pretty cool. But
We've been
just wanna-
ranting.
Yeah, we have. Ranting's fun. Do we have any emails?
I was gonna go into something else first. I got one story I want to say I read on BBC News,
All right.
and
Oh, the English.
a teacher is angry about being fined. It's 150 pounds for throwing an apple core out of his car into a hedge.
It's biodegradable, people. It's good
That's
for the
exact-
soil.
That was his fucking defense. It's like it's fucking biodegradable.
It's biodegradable. It's good for the soil. It actually
The
enriched
cop,
it.
because I've always thought about that too. Like, because I chuck my apple cores and banana peels out all the time because. It's
Are you
like,
kidding me? If I have leftovers, they get thrown off the deck. We live in the
because, like, to
goddamn
me,
woods.
Like, it's one of those ones when people throw like that shit in the trash. I go, what the fuck is wrong with you?
and all it
Are
does
you
is
fucking
build up and
retarded?
stink.
Yeah, exactly. It's
That's
like
all
you
it does
throw
is
that shit out in the
outside.
fucking woods like not a moron.
I
Yeah.
imagine this being kind of like a black and white, like British comedy, kind of chasing. Like, the guy's just walking down the street, like toss thing. Like you see some British cops would like just start chasing, like.
Yeah.
I love your view of the rest of the fucking world.
That's
you,
what
you got the fucking boxed in American lifestyle.
I love
Like
it.
everybody else's country appears. The French have their balloons rolling down the street. The English run back and forth with nifty music.
I know that's
With
not
their
the
cute little billy
case.
billy clubs.
I know that's not the case. I just think I just see a
The
funny skit
Mexicans
out of
live
that.
in like the West still.
When
like,
have we
like
ever
a fucking
talked
Western.
shit on Mexican?
Frequently in my
When have we ever
life.
talked shit on Mexican? No, but no, I'm just saying.
Just
I
saying your
get
view of
that.
the world.
It's not literally my view. It's me trying to be funny. That's what that is. But
Yeah.
no, but that's just. I just think, can't you just imagine like a skit on that almost?
I
Yeah.
guess I could see that.
Yeah.
That's funny though.
But
Yeah,
that's
because
just one of those stories.
yeah,
I
that would
was
be
like,
my
what
only.
the fuck? 'Cause
Yeah.
I do that all the time. I'm always throwing shit out like that.
Oh yeah.
Because I know it goes back to the fucking earth. You know what I mean? When you throw in the trash, it's just gonna fucking rot there. 'Cause
Yeah,
not
it's just
get
gonna
any
smell.
Air. It's not going back into the soil. What the fuck good is that doing?
Yeah,
So
it's
a
just
teacher
rotting.
got pulled over for just throwing like an apple core into a bush. That's all. That's this.
You got fined.
Yeah, you got
150
fined for
pounds.
it.
That's ridiculous.
I know, isn't that stupid?
Yeah, like yeah, because
I heard about that. I was like, what the fuck?
I throw shit off my deck all the time. I'm sorry, I live in the woods. I got critters
I
all
live in
around.
fucking public. I mean, I did at the pool. Like, I would chuck it in that
Yeah,
in-between
yeah.
land between the fire department and the pool.
Anywhere that there is open ground that has foliage, some kind of plant life
Yeah,
around
so
it,
it's
I
gonna
will
go
throw
around it,
food
it's
into
gonna go
it.
back to the earth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not trash. Like the people that think that's trash are fucking retards. I don't care.
Yeah, because
And those cops are fucking morons. They're probably doing that thing where it's like, it says in the book if something gets thrown out the window. You know,
yeah, it's literally. Oh god, yeah. I really want to do that one of these days, like, because we have in California the $1,000 fine for littering, and I really want to do that, like throw an apple core out my window, have a cop pull me
Whoa.
over, and be like, "You were littering." Be like, "No, I wasn't. I was composting, bitch."
Let's stand here.
It was a fucking apple. I was composting.
NWA starts to play as you walk away.
Yeah, like what now? I don't know what else to say, but it's not trash. If you see what trash is, and according to Waste Management, they send out cute little pictures now. You do not see an apple core anywhere in trash. Where
Nope.
is it? In compost.
Exactly. That's what it is. And I just heard that. I was like, what? That made me angry. It's just like that's something that's like, what the fuck's wrong with people?
I love it. Yeah, because we had the exact same reaction. It's not trash.
Nope, not at all.
It's
Well,
compost.
we got an email, and it's from Jacob Sampson, and he writes, "Hey, Old Man Orange, I love you guys. Your podcast is so funny, and I listen to it all the time. Why, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jacob.
I also love your comic Grit. It's so good. And Ryan, I'm trying to start my own comic book right now, and I don't know how to start. So could you please give me some help?"
Oh wow. Well, first off, Jacob, thank you so much for liking the comic. I'm trying to come out with the second issue as soon as possible. I guess tips. I guess there's a million different ways you can go with that. As far as story writing, I can't give you any hints because I don't really know where you want to start off on that. But in the strict sense of, I'll give you a name of some programs might help you out. I did the first Grit on Adobe Photoshop Element 6. That was pretty helpful. I also went on and used Manga Studio for the new one. That's actually more helpful. Manga Studio 7.
Plus, it's way cheaper too.
Way cheaper too. If I guess the process, I'll explain the process. What I did, I wrote out the script. The first issue of Grit, it has a lot of panels in it. That was kind of my bad because there's just so much panels, so much heavy dialogue that I kind of overloaded it. So what I would do, I would write 4 to 8 panels max per page, and then at the same time, what I did is I drew up the characters individually, scanned them onto the computer, outlined them on Photoshop or Manga Studio Pro, whichever one you're using, or anything in between, and then I just pieced it page to page. There's a bunch of tutorials you can find online of that. I wish I could be more helpful, but I'm not really sure where to start. But keep on going at it, man. So yeah.
And the best way I always say it for story writing, as I just want to get this in here, is write what you want to write and make what you want to make. Never make somebody else's project. Do what you want to do. I just feel like if you're not putting your heart and soul in it, it just never will be like what you want. It'll never be nearly as good, and that's really the only way to get anywhere.
Your individuality is what really makes you stand out. So yeah, just use that.
Use your imagination. It's a dying thing for the youth of today.
Yes,
Exactly.
imagination's very important, and
It's this thing that comes stock in your brain.
Mhm.
You can use it. It's pretty snazzy.
and
It's
just
called
make
like imaginary friends. I had one when I was a kid. Just make your imaginary friend go to paper.
I didn't have a lot of imagination when it came to imaginary friends. I just had Batman.
yeah, Batman tells all, but it's one of those ones.
I
like,
talk to fruit. I'm not gonna lie. I talk to things as I cook them. So when I was a kid and I was like baking and stuff, I talked to the stuff that I baked.
Nothing
That
personal,
happens.
Apple, but
Yeah. You're delicious, but you're gonna be even more delicious in my pie.
I think that's the best thing though. Is you just gotta make what you want to make, and don't let anybody tell you different. If somebody said, even if you're making something like I want to make this type of genre, and somebody goes, well, that genre is used a lot. If that's what you're really into, fucking just make that, though. Don't ever,
Yeah.
let anybody tell you that that's been done too many times, or that's been done before. Whatever you want to do, make sure you do it, and it's going to come out different no matter what, because you're going to combine things, different elements and stuff.
You'll get different inspirations as you work on it. It will
Yeah.
change as you work on it. Just go with what you want to do. Don't give in to what's popular.
It's like, when I've always thought of music, this is what kind of happens. You play, if you play guitar, you play from all your favorite guitar players. You know what I mean? You choose, 10, 15, 20 guitar players, and you play all these different stuff from them. But since you chose that different, 20, 25 plus guitar players, that's what makes your style actually come out, because you took a little bit from each person. That goes with anything else. That goes with writing, that goes with movie making, that goes with comics, that goes with animation, anything you can think of. You just pick and choose from your favorites, and you take the good and
find
the
your
bad,
own
what you think,
sound.
and you find your own sound, you find your own, voice, you find your own art.
Yeah. Everybody does have an artistic side.
Can't say it better than that right there.
So thank you, Jacob, for sending us out an email, and anybody else, send us an email. That'd be cool with Old Man Orange Podcast at yahoo.com. Also, make sure you check out the oldmanorange.com website, and that will really lead you anywhere. That's the simplest way.
Rate and review us on iTunes.
Exactly. And all that can be accessed at oldmanorange.com. That's oldmanorange.com.
Like Spencer said, Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, Podomat, everything there.
Any of that bullshit, it's all on there. But until then, I guess that's where we're going to end our podcast today. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
I'm Nora Chambers.
Yes, and we will continue the Old Man Orange radio show as well as our classic show, just Old Man Orange Podcast. See y'all later.
See you, folks.